Yeah, I think we're up. I think we're up. Yeah, I think we're good. I think we're good. A little bit later than what I wanted to go, but we're fine. Make sure everything's up. Make sure everything's working. That's the biggest thing. Is my audio up? Is Discord up? What are we looking like? Mic's working. Is Minecraft working? I'm waiting for a... Okay, barely. I was about to post this in the direct general, but I think I'm just going to talk about it here since I'm already streaming anyways. I honestly don't understand some of these prove to me God exists videos. Mainly the ones by agnostics where they're like deconstructing each explanation for God or like why it doesn't work for Christianity specifically and stuff like that. Because the first thing I just kind of want to point out is I could apply the same thing to anything within our realm of rational understanding, like we have a large amount of understanding of. Let's say I bring up like trees or anything else for that matter, just something random, and tell someone to prove it to me with 100% certainty and leave no gaps. That's just not possible, especially without using the direct thing or personal evidence of like, oh, I've seen a tree. Oh, I've touched a tree. Oh, yeah, there's a tree outside if you go look at it. If you can't use those, then you don't even have an argument because you've already removed any of the specific evidences that you can even use to begin with. That's the first thing. Because they, literally any evidence they give, they go, okay, well, this, what about this? What about this? And you can't use this. Oh, and don't use that either. And let's just go something a bit more abstract, talking about my personal testimony about this. Let's say, prove to me spirits exist. But don't talk to them directly. Don't reference them. Just prove to me they exist. With no extra footing. Prove them. Now what do you do? That's not even... That's like the halfway point between normal physical understanding. Spiritual, I would say, is like the halfway point between normal and God. And you already have come into an issue because all the evidence can be ruled out because you don't have personal experience at all. And you can't use the exact thing to prove it. And then you have to prove why that's reliable and true. It's just like, you can't even do that for most normal things. Normal ideas. Normal, I guess, sayings too. How are you supposed to do that for things that are not out of rationality, but out of control? Not out of control. I don't know the exact word to use. More abstract, I guess, is the only thing to say. So I wanted to post that, and I'm still going to post it, because I'm probably going to write that up really quick. Because it is a fair point. Give me just a second. Moment. Okay, I wrote it. I'm going to check and make sure the streams are actually working now. I just wanted to say that first. I probably should have checked first, but that's okay. Is kick on the be right back screen? What is stream looking at right now? Okay, that's normal. Is Twitch up? Twitch is up. Okay, we're good on there. Let me make sure YouTube's up. It's taking a little minute. There we go. Yeah, we're up. I'm gonna check shorts really quick. That's a big thing. Another thing I kind of want to talk about today was the comments I got on the past few shorts. And I also want to talk about my testimony, but those two things are such complicated topics to go over, and I know I'm going to mess them up, and I really want to do them correctly so I can make this into a clip later. That's a really big thing I want to do. So I have to think about it, but also, even thinking about it's not going to be enough. It's too long of a mission just to memorize. Because that's two things I want to go into, and then we have other stuff. How would I even start the testimony? The comments would be easier. I'd just be reading stuff out. I don't know how I'd do it, though. So I have to read both people's perspectives. I don't have to put the comments up on screen, because I'm just going to do that for the clips afterwards. But I do have to read it correctly. And I don't know which one I want to start with. Botrix is set up. Yeah, we're pretty much good. Okay. Also want to see which ones I want to bring up. There's one I would bring up. I don't know if Jero's even going to see the stream, but I would bring it up. I also want to make this more long forward content. I would, but I don't have enough knowledge on the topic. It's not that I don't want to include it, because, like, it'd make it seem like they won the argument, because I honestly don't care about that. I just don't have enough knowledge on the overall topic about pretty much anything they brought up, really, to be able to, I guess, realistically talk about it. Because I'd probably be giving misinformation on some things. I just don't have the knowledge, especially about some of my claims, because I can be totally wrong on any of that. Hopefully I'll come back to it after reading up. I already have a lot of ideas or arguments that people have brought to me that I really want to research. I mean, even the chew and cud one, I know that's one, and I have about so many more. Way more arguments that people have brought up that I need to look more into, and at this point my time is too thin to really be doing too much. It's not even that thin, but making videos and streaming, school's the big thing. School's the big thing. Because if I didn't have school, I'd 100% be able to research this stuff. I think the plan is I'm going to bring up comments when someone else joins the stream. If someone else joins the stream, not when. Because that'd be, like, the best way to do it. Get other people's opinions on them. And just have conversations about them. Go through it. That's also the best way, just content-wise as well. And for the testimony, I have to do that by myself, but I don't have enough confidence that I'd be able to recite it well. I've done it twice now, but I'm not really happy with how I did it both times. And it was only 4 minutes long last time, and I know there's a lot to talk about and a lot to go through. And I'd want to, like, put it all in a Google document to have it all organized. But I also know that if I do that, I'm still going to mess it up as well. There's a lot. There is a lot of info even to get right, too, because that was a crazy period for only a few days, I'd say. That's all I really needed, though. It was a crazy period. Because I'd have to explain what? Both apps, I'd have to explain that one encounter that happened randomly when I think it was either after or before. I'd have to explain certain things said. I'd have to... Thing is, I'm just saying this verbally so I can think about what I would have to say, so I can maybe get it in my head. Just gonna go put this stuff up. What else? Because what was said, how that correlates, then I'd have to do, like, physical evidence, not evidence because I don't have evidence, but physical evidence for me in that time, I'd have to. I think I'm missing one. Missing one. And my other friends do it too. That was the thing. I was watching Sam and Colby. That's another detail to add. Those weird apps. I might actually end up writing this down in a second and just go through the whole thing. Because once I have the general topic ideas, I can talk about the whole thing. I just need to write down the general parts. It's the biggest thing. Because there is a lot, but there's also not too much at the same time. It really is just about figuring out how to talk about it. Okay, I think that's what I'm gonna do. Give me a moment. I'm not gonna be mining for a second, because I want to... I swear I wrote my testimony before, but I don't see it in my Google document. Oh, the dog's in here. Hey, dog. Okay, we're gonna make a general overview. What do you want? Sam and Kobe before. I think it was before. Okay, hold on. I'll be right back. I want to see what this dog wants. What do you want? What? What? What is it? What is it? Can you follow you? What do you want? Please, I don't know what you want. Ah, you don't know. Go out there. What? You just want to sit up here? I got nothing up here for you to eat. This dog is crazy. Okay, we're just gonna stream with the dog. Sam and Colby, and then we have apps. We have airplane mode. We're gonna have a mirror. Google Doc. Experience. We're gonna have a paid app. Honey, is your eye okay? What's wrong? Open your eye. What are you doing? Are you faking it? Or is your eye okay? Hold on, I need to make sure she's okay. I don't know if she's faking it or not. Are you faking it for attention? Or is your eye okay? I'm gonna take you to the scene. As a Christian, you certainly know about 343. Just got back. My dog, I got something in, and I can't really help right now, though. So I gotta wait till they get here to help. What do you mean by 343? I'm assuming you're referencing a verse. But I don't know what you mean. Why did I get disconnected from the server? I'm also trying to write up. Oh no, did the computer turn off? No. So I should be able to connect. 343. Trying to write this up. Oh, not the verse, the number. I also believe Santa Claus died at 343. I actually don't. Do not know about 343. I'm gonna refresh. For some reason, it won't let me in the server. Yeah, what are you, like, alluding to, though? I know you're bringing it up for some reason. Because I actually don't know. Okay, what the world? Is the server... We're just gonna stop the server and restart it. We're gonna hope that fixes it. Oh, it crashed. That's cool. 343 is inherent to every field of science, but manifested in geometry. Isn't it also a part of biology in some sense? I swear it's like in the cells. I saw something about that at some time or another. Because I know it has something to do with, like, cells. In some way. If I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. Because I also don't have enough knowledge on it. There's a lot of things I really want to research, but time is a huge constraint. Like, I could probably make a list at this point of things I need to look up. A list. And it just keeps getting bigger, so... Well, what do you believe, right? I'd assume you're a Christian since you're bringing it up, but, like, are you Protestant, Catholic, atheist, Christian? Well, me and my constituents aren't in contact with many biologists. Oh, so you're, like, a part of this. I'm gonna look it up. Significance of 343 in biology. I don't know. It was something about cells or another. I don't have any details. I looked it up and it didn't really give me anything. Dang it. Do I have my, like, Christianity is real debate me thing? I don't. Okay, that's for Be Right Back. No, Why is it not on? Why is this so zoomed in? Oh, wait, no, it's not. Wait, then... Gee. Did I move it? Hold on. Oh, I moved it. I got this. Hold on. Stuff. There we go. Now let's back up. I'm dying. Yeah, I've also made some videos about it. I believe God exists, and He made the universe. Rick's just spammed. He made the universe. I haven't read the Bible, but I do pray. I mean, that's a good start. Many people are very against, he just said. Not many in the terms of numbers, but just in terms of... Depends on how you want to define many. Many people, again, depends on how you define it, are atheist or agnostic. You have New Age. A good amount of people are New Age, but that... Oh my goodness, that's a whole topic. Whole topic. Because I used to believe in, like, the universe. Oh yes, the universe. It gave me money. Oh my goodness. And I talked to the universe, and it, like, gave me everything I wanted. Not exactly how it went, but that's how I used to be. I was, in a sense, New Age, but... I don't like it. The thing about New Age is, it's spirituality in the most literal sense. Universe, spirits, no God, just straight. I believe the universe is conscious and makes decisions on its own. The loudest few often seems like the many people. That's a quote. I'd quote that for real. I mean, it is true, though. It shouldn't be the loudest. If you believe you have the correct religion, you should be out there telling people about it, but... You have the loudest bunch being the atheists. So many people are afraid of what would happen to their ego if they were to speak about Christianity, or what would people think about me, or how would I be perceived? It's so dumb when you think that knowing Christianity is real and you're not talking to people about it, that's really going to end up on you. That is going to be your fault. Because what's worse, someone being, like, not going to heaven because you didn't tell them, or the way they see you if you did tell them and they just chose not to believe or talk to you about it. That's a whole dilemma I had to go up talking to my friend about, which is why I eventually talked to him. So another thing is, you have things about, like, Watchmen, and if you want to apply that verse, saying that if you don't try, then their blood will be on your hands. It's like, ooh. That's... Are you kidding me? There's at least a few verses about that. Especially if we want to take, like, Watchmen to mean that, but that could be also out of context, depending on how you want to look at it. I do plan on getting into my testimony. I've wrote a few things down, but I want to think it over a little more to make sure, like, I got most of the stuff. Because I know there's probably going to be things I've missed. And I want to make sure I get everything, because I really want this to be, like, the final time I explain my testimony. And then I can just have it for, like, later on. I just believe... Not believe, but I just have, like, the full thing written out, and so I can just recite it at any moment when I need to. Well, in my case, I often don't tell my constituents about 343 because they, in most cases, already have their own beliefs, and my constituents are very diverse. What are constituents? I want to know what that is, because I don't know the definition of that. But that's another thing, right? You're not... You're close to being a Christian, but you're not by technicality a Christian. I'm talking about people who fully believe that Jesus is God, he died on the cross and paid for our sins, and the only way to be in paradise with him is to believe and accept what he did for you. Those are the people I'm talking about that still choose to not talk about Christianity or things like that, even though they know it's the truth. You're in a specific scenario where you don't even believe in Christianity at this point. Thank God, not 343. That's fine. I got what you meant. You're just in a specific situation where you're not entirely Christian, and you're not agnostic because you do believe, but you also are in a position where you don't know what religion entirely is correct by definition, if you even come out believing in a religion. But specifically about the ones that believe fully in Christianity and believe all of its teachings, those are the people that are going to have issues. And even if, like, the blood on their hands thing didn't exist, you still have the issue of just... Oh, wow, it left. Oh, wait, no, I found it again. Of verses that literally tell you to just go out and teach people of the gospel. That's the biggest thing, because it tells pretty much every person that when or if you are saved, you should be telling others of the gospel, even if, like, not on the internet like I'm doing now, or, like, on debates. Even small ways count, but if you're not doing it at all, if you're just like, oh, well, I respect everyone, and I'm a Christian, those two things don't align. You can love someone, but you should not be accepting any evil that they are doing, per se. Love the person, hate the sin. That's the full saying. And then you have other people who are just horrible at that exact statement. You're going to hell if this and this, and God won't accept you because you're a sinner and you're going to hell. All the time. And those are also the people that push people away. Yay! I feel like it'd be better if you didn't preach anything at all. Which isn't true, because there is a chance you get through to someone, but you're also pushing people away at the same time, so what good are you really bringing? It's not that it cancels out, because it's good that one person could be saved, but it's not great. I think it's, I think Romans, or one of Paul's things, that says, rejoice that the gospel is preached even if incorrect or done in a wrong way. That's paraphrased, because I don't remember the exact verse. But I know that is said. So that's the thing. It sucks that any bad comes from it at all, but just be happy that it's being taught at all. The thing I see mostly is it's more Southern Christians, like, not even trying to generalize, but it's more so them that's always like, you're going to hell because of this and this. Especially when you're not preaching the gospel message at all. That Jesus died on a cross and rose from the dead and paid for all of your sins, which is the biggest thing you should be preaching to begin with. Why are you telling someone they suck when we're all sinners? And we all need the price that he paid, and you're just skipping over that part. And my constituents are people who believe in what I say and are willing to enact research in specific fields about 343. Okay, that's really interesting. So you're saying people who believe in the 343 number system and whatever beliefs they have about it, and how, like, that points to some being, even if they don't believe. And depending on the field they're in, they enact research, figuring out if it applies there too. Ooh, that's actually really cool. How many, like, things in total have you gotten? Because I know you said, like, different fields of science and math and stuff. In total, like, what's each division that you have? If that's a good way to even put it. Tired of some of these debates. 2 people watching though. Let's go. I want to see if we have anyone watching on the other thing. Wait, why did this person's message not go through my thing? Oh no, are my accounts not hooked in? My Kick account's not hooked in. One moment. Allow access. Okay, Kick should be hooked up now. Yep, I'm getting random messages. Okay, let me get back to normal. I wanted to fix that. So we have music theory, geometry, astrophysicist. Is that in total? Or is that just a few? Astrophysicist. It's actually a really crazy title. Especially for this specific thing. I swear I've heard something about biology in 343. I want to remember, but it's like such a small memory. I have like barely any recollection of it. I also kind of want to wait. What is arc raiders? I want to see what Finger's talking about arc raiders. In a little bit, I'll do my testimony depending on the amount of people in here. I want to figure out what this game is. That's cool. I don't know if you have a way to keep me up to date about it, because I would love to like look into it and see just different things about it, depending on if you have come up with like any cool evidence or for each field or anything else. I'm gonna look right here. I don't know if this person's watching anymore. Let me scroll up to see if it said that they ever left. I think they're still here. I can't tell. What else do I want to talk about? I do want to talk a little bit about atheist debates, but I don't know what I talk about. Because the second I started the stream, I started up about like how they just throw away specific evidence, so it makes it kind of hard to give evidence when they're like, oh, well, that evidence doesn't count. Oh, that evidence? That one sucks. You can't give that evidence. And how dare you give that evidence? That one doesn't even make sense. Never gonna get by him. Well, there's correlations to 343 we suspect in all structures of molecules and compounds. I think that's what I'm thinking of. I think that's the thing I'm thinking of. Maybe it wasn't biology. It might have been that. Who made a video on... I'm gonna have to find that short after this stream or I'm gonna go insane. You know what? I'm doing it right now. We're finding this short. Short about 343. Not 343 Industries. Oh no, I'm never gonna find this because of that. um, Yeah, I'm really not gonna find this. Wow. What is this? This video says sound travels at 343 meters per second in the air. It's the only thing I can find. That's the thing I just brought up. That's funny. In music and sound, speed of sound for the most part is 343 hertz. Tall and produces a 1 meter wave. Yeah, it definitely sounds interesting. I wonder, is there any biblical correlation to the 343? Now SCP uses 343 to correlate like a god in the SCP universe, which is actually a crazy either coincidence or on purpose. I'm trying to find if there's any biblical correlation. Yeah, I feel like there is too. That's why I'm trying to find it. And thing is, I was gonna say Judaism, but that's just Christianity by technicality, the Old Testament at least. So then it would be in Christianity. So I'm trying to find this. Rex is spamming me again, guys. Oh, that's 7 cubed. 343 is 7 times 7 times 7. That's... okay. That was instant. Just ask ChatGPT, and it knows. 777, guys. It's literally 3 and 7 at the same time. 7 the number of completion, and 3 like... ah, dang. I know. Because one is completion and one is the other one. Because you got 3 and 7, which are like the main two big numbers. 6 being for Satan. I don't know why that is. 343 would technically be ultimate completion. Just because of the... wow. Okay. 3 represents completion or fullness, especially in God's relation to nature and work. And the big one was the Trinity. Jesus rose on the third day. Peter denied Jesus 3 times. The other one ChatGPT brought up just isn't important to my knowledge. Everything's important, but it's just not very connected. So that's what I was looking for. And number 7 means spiritual perfection, so I was correct. 7 symbolizes God's perfection, spiritual completion, and words. Covenantal fulfillment. 7 days of creation, 7th-day Sabbath, 7 trumpets, 7 seals, 7 bowls, 7 churches, 7 spirits. Those are in Revelation. And if you just put those two together, it's just perfectness. Which is 7 cubed, 7, 7, 7. Yeah, that's like a crazy correlation. I'm also probably looking way too deep into that. But I wanted to make sure. Because I know 7 and 3 are like the main 2 numbers. In my knowledge. I'll chop these trees. Ah, that's how. I don't know if that has any correlation in other religions. I know that is the big one in Christianity. Get rid of all these floating trees. But I did find it. I used ChatGPT though, because I was confused. I'm getting beat up. Rose! Why, hello there! How's your day been? Probably late for you. It's gotta be. If we don't get a lot of people coming today, I'm just gonna end off with my full testimonial story type thing. Because I want to get that correct. Next time we'll probably go into, like, comments. Because I'd rather read the comments with someone else here. It is somewhat late. I would assume. I think the UK is like 7 hours ahead of me. Or 5. One of the two. It is 5 hours ahead. Okay. You're itching to have a conversation, though. I had a lot of atheist arguments. That's the biggest thing that has been on my mind recently. Especially in the comments. You see the thing that's on my screen? Christianity is true, prove me wrong? I left that up there for one of the shorts. I woke up to about 16 comments. I replied to all of them, but I want to talk about them to get clips, you see. Also just to talk about them to another person. It serves 2 purposes. They're all in the debate discussion. And then I've been looking on, like, atheist YouTube, looking through some of those. The biggest thing I found with agnostic, atheist, or similar YouTube, they literally just tell you, disregard every piece of evidence you have. Oh, well, you have no evidence for God. And you can't prove it either. You can't prove it with any of your evidence. Because that's all wrong and bad. I brought this up in general. Apply the same logic to a tree, pretty much. And then prove to me a tree exists. But you can't go outside, you can't take a picture of it, you can't look at it, and you can't talk about it. Now prove to me a tree exists. What type of debate does that get you? Yeah, you can hop in VC. The person in the YouTube chat was over here talking about 343 and every aspect of everything. And they're, like, researching the number 343 in different fields because they know people in different fields. And it's in things like music and math and science and stuff. And I just looked it up. And 343 is 7 cubed, so 7 times 7 times 7, or, you know, threes. 3 sevens. So that's interesting. If you would like to talk about them, we can go through, quite literally, all of them. The most recent one I sent was the old one that I had. The other ones were pretty interesting. Most of them were just...
What is a man?
Oh, he's here.
Sorry. Hello.
I forget you have your own intro. It's just like when Rose appears.
What is a man? Hello. It's very dramatic. I enjoy it. Sorry, I feel like I interrupted you in the middle of saying a thing.
Well, not most. Some of these debates that I posted, like the images of, were really dumb. They were really dumb.
Oh,
one of them argued,
that's the way.
oh, you don't have free will because everything is determined by past experiences. So then you choose what you do with those experiences. So I was like, you just said you choose. Good job, man.
Yeah, you. There's a lot of people that will say, oh, because so they picture the future as like a physical place that exists, and they go, well, because the future is happening, that means that it must be predetermined. That must mean there's no choice involved. Which it takes a little bit of explaining. I think you can explain it to them, though. You can sort of go through and say, look, while God knows the outcome, and technically he is outside of time, so he's seeing the outcome live right now, in a sense. You are the one that's steering the ship, and so you're still making choices within that paradigm that he's set up for you. It's just that he can see which ones you have made and will make at all times because he's outside of time because he's spooky.
That's the same claim I made for, like, the one example atheists love to use. Why would God create me if he knew I wouldn't accept him? But they wouldn't, you know, say the choose part, but because they leave that out on purpose, guys.
Yeah.
And the main thing I emphasized in the thing was like, well, you have the option to choose him. It's up to you if you do it or not. And then Christ is King also made the argument that life in and of itself is the valuable part anyways.
Well, the easy answer to that, if someone says, why did God create me if he knew I wouldn't accept him? Then all I have to say is, okay, if God only created the people that would accept him, would that be free will?
Ooh.
Or would he just be creating robots that accept him?
Let me specifically plan out each individual piece of your life so I can make sure you accept me on the exact moment I want you.
Exactly. But he's not going to discriminate, right? He's not going to say, oh, I'm only going to create the people that accept me, because then he wouldn't really be very good faith when it comes to free will, would he? He'd just sort of be like, oh, I don't need to make you. You're not going to follow me anyway.
I love the atheist claim when they run out of ideas. I talked about this with Finger. It's like, oh, well, once you prove everything else wrong, they're like, just make them robots. Make them accept them all the time. We don't need free will. And Finger was like, they should just agree with slavery at that point. I was like, that's a fair point.
That is, in fact, the exact point I was going to make as well. Yes, effectively, you are removing someone's will as a way to make friends with them, or however you want to do it. I remember seeing someone online make the argument of, if you're going to war with a nation and you've got God on your side, why not just force that nation to want to be friends with the people fighting them? It's like, because that would be enslaving them, effectively.
But they're the same ones that's like, we shouldn't enslave people, that's bad. The Bible allows slavery.
Yeah, but they're the biggest slavery advocates ever, because they'll be like, oh, no, free will, don't need that, we just need
What if I just enslave the person right across from me because he doesn't believe in God, and I'll be helping him by forcing him to believe in God with force?
There you go.
I got it, guys.
We have the answer.
United States, I would like to propose a bill.
Now, which channel did you put these in again? Because I saw them earlier, but now
it's all in debate discussion.
Debate discussion. Okay, let me go.
The one with 8 is just one debate with one person.
Oh,
that's fun.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, good. That's yeah.
Reading through those takes at least an hour. Braddock is here. Glad to see you back in here.
Braddock, yes, welcome back, friend. I don't know you, but welcome.
I streamed like
Um,
yesterday. I was like, man, Braddock's not here.
I,
So
I,
sad.
I have missed Braddock in every waking hour that I have not been here.
Exactly.
Braddock
Oh,
has not been in my
I
life.
felt.
I'm not reading in detail. I'm skimming at the moment.
That's the best way to do it, guys.
Uh, that's yeah. Do everything that way. That'll probably work out. Uh,
Especially the Bible. Mm-hmm.
yeah, just skim it. Just skim it, man.
You'll
Especially the
get
New
it
Testament.
all
It's like
correct, especially if you don't have someone to explain it to you. Do it the atheistic
exactly.
way.
Do it.
It's the
You
best way.
know it'll work. It'll be fine. Right. Okay. So, oh, he's doing capital letters over here. Hold on. Uh,
Which one are you reading right now? It has been a while, Braddock. It's been a little bit.
Stupid excuse so you can clean it. He's a little emotional. This guy.
He got a little upset.
He did get a little upsetty spaghetti.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
I'm gonna look at my live stream, see how many people we got right now. We have 3 people. We're cooking.
the fascinating thing is this guy is going very he's getting very angry, evidently, just by his punctuation and grammar.
I told this
Um,
to another person. I read that whole thing. Like, you know those angry Indian scammers? Like, when you prank them? That's
yeah,
exactly how
yeah,
I
yeah.
read it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, look, but here's the thing, right? I guarantee the same guy would get into a voice call with you and be totally chill, um, and just talk through his complaints. He's doing this because he can't see you, and
Mm.
because you're on the other side of a screen. He's separated you, in other words, and now he's using you as a facsimile of Christianity to be able to attack a figurehead,
Guys,
basically.
he's beating me up. Mm-mm-mm.
He's beating you up metaphorically. Um, okay, so he's making a lot of nothing to do with
We went through a
suffering.
lot of claims.
There's a lot. There's a lot. Oh, good lord! Is there any that you were uneasy on? Because I can jump to that one and
There
see if I
is
can hopefully
one
give
that
some
I had
insight.
issues with.
Okay, okay.
Let's
Where are we?
see. I'd say, like, the top one with all the images, the bottom, like, right one, the last 3
Okay,
pretty
so when you
much.
say the top one with all the images, do you mean the one you sent yesterday,
I'm just gonna, like,
or do you
reply to
mean
it
the
really
most
quick.
recent post? Oh, oh, look at that.
So if you click here, it will
Yeah.
bring you to this one. The bottom right corner, that's the
Okay.
start of it.
The foundational problem remains. There is no reliable evidence for any specific God. Depends on what you mean by reliable, nor any argument for any specific God that is both valid and sound. That is just false. And without personal revelation, I have no rational reason to seek God. That's also false. There's a catch 22 here that is not up to me. So, okay, all right, interesting. And then you said, I made a comment to another person similar to this, but much more
And then you're
comprehensive.
gonna want to
So
have
I'm
to
going to give
go
it to
to
you.
a different image in like above this at some point where I start with
Okay.
sorry this is long because I sent this to another person.
I can see, yes, sorry this is long. I've heard this argument from a messenger of truth. I know that guy. But I believe he takes scripture out of context sometimes too. Yeah, well, we all do to an extent, even though he says others do it. I will claim others do it. All of us have read a bit of scripture without knowing the full context before.
Yep.
Uh, where's the rest? Is it just above? Did you say? Yeah, here we go. Sorry this is so long. But the basis of Christianity should be grounded in non-Christian ideals. Okay, so you're going in the direction of this person is claiming to need a justification for Christianity outside of Christianity. Have you ever heard of the transcendental argument?
I think a little bit, but I've already forgotten.
It's very complicated, but I think also very compelling. The idea basically is when we go through the world and we try to make sense of things, and I'm relatively new to try and understand this as well, so bear with me if I get it a bit wrong. We go through the world and we use logic as a method by which to understand the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, in the context of any worldview, you're going to have some presuppositions. You're going to be making some conclusions about stuff. So you're going to say, right, because this is true, therefore I can make some other
That's
conclusions.
like what
For
I brought up
example,
for science.
There you go. Yeah. Well, science will presuppose that mathematics is true, and it will presuppose logic is true,
And
right?
that the Big Bang
So
is true.
exactly, and it has to. Well, not necessarily that one actually with the Big Bang, because science operated before the Big Bang. It doesn't actually rely on that.
It is a big
But
bias in certain cases.
yes, and one thing that you could say is that the theory of the Big Bang relies on science being a methodology that is reliable.
Hmm.
Um, Now, the thing with the transcendental argument is it says, okay, so we use logic. That's the ultimate standard by which we go to. Um, what's your justification for using logic? Right? How do we know that logic is giving us an accurate picture of the world? And how do we know that we're not being completely deceived into something that isn't true? And if it isn't, why do we even value truth in the first place? And the
Wow, that goes
transcendental
deep.
argument says, okay, it's very deep. It's a very deep argument. So again, bear with me. But the idea is that then you do a series of experiments. So you take a series of worldviews and you presuppose that they are true, and then you try to justify your use of logic within that framework, right?
Hmm.
So, for a moment, become an atheist. You have now entered into their world. You are
Thank
thinking
you for the
like them.
follow.
You are trying to justify things in the same way as they. Sorry, say again.
I'll say thank someone for the follow. I didn't see where they followed.
Oh,
Continue.
thank you for following. Do that. Um, yeah. So
Oh,
so
again.
fr- my gosh, look, see, your pop is when I come in.
Exactly. See, you're the driving force of this channel.
We've established this. Come on. Uh,
Exactly.
I kid. You're wonderful. Um,
Oh my goodness, it happened
so
again.
look. It's my sultry tones. Welcome to the channel, all you new viewers.
He's going into voice actor mode. Someone stop
I'm
him.
becoming too powerful. Um,
Again! Rose, stop this nonsense!
um, so okay. Point. You are now an atheist. Congratulations. You've
Uh-huh.
abandoned God.
Oh,
Everything's a little bit terrible. But
I'm
now that
sad
you are an
now.
atheist, try to justify your use of logic. Right? Why is logic a valid and reasonable way through which you can understand the world?
Myself.
Yourself?
Yep. I
You
trust
appear
myself.
to be, yes, well, that's basically it. You then make yourself God. And you say, I am the ultimate standard. But then, of course, that's true for everyone at that point. And then everyone can say, well, I am the ultimate standard. Then there is no ultimate standard because everyone's their own. The point being, the really awkward thing is if you say that to an atheist, and if we've got any atheists in the chat right now, they may be saying that. And you say, right, okay, justify your use of logic. The immediate thing they're going to try and do is appeal to logic. They're going to say, well, I can trust logic because logically
Sometimes science.
we can see that it makes sense of the world, right? And if we
Circular.
follow logic, we come to true conclusions. That's interesting.
They would not
That's a
accept
pretty
that from us,
logical argument.
guys.
No, but here's the thing. That argument, while it may be logical, they just used logic to claim that logic is reliable.
Logic
That's
is the
viciously
standard.
circular, right? So, in other words, the only way that you can justify your use of logic from an atheistic perspective is by saying, yeah, I'm just going to assume logic is true and then use that assumption to prove that logic is true. Right?
That hurts my brain.
And it should hurt everyone else's because what that is it's called a reductio ad absurdum. What effectively you're doing there is you're taking their worldview and you're reducing it to absurdity. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're saying your worldview actually doesn't even make sense
I love
because
reductios. They're so fun.
they're great. So if you try to adopt the atheist model, there is no such thing as the ability to justify logic. There's also no morality, which means
That's the
there's
fun
nothing
part.
that you have. That's even more fun because then you have no reason not to lie. And if you have no reason not to lie, why not just make up what you want to be true?
I brought
There's
that
no
up with
moral
the
obligation
atheist
not to.
guy, and I used like Charlie
Mm.
Kirk and all the leftists on TikTok as an example, and they were like, he was a horrible person. He didn't per
Oh,
se, he doesn't per se deserve, and I was like, you just proved my point, man.
okay. They're appealing to something. Yeah, this is the problem. And they can't make moral assertions and expect you to take them seriously if they're moral relativists because then all they have to go off is, well, I prefer the morals like this, and you go, okay, that's fine. I prefer the morals like the way the Bible says, and they have nothing against that. They just have to go, okay, that's
Mm.
fine. Um, and the same thing can be said again for in terms of truth claims, and you can claim whatever you want to be real because you can't justify logic. You can then just say, okay, you believe atheism is true and you have no justification for that, but you believe you can assert it. That's fine. I assert that Christianity is true. Now, where do we go? Now, here's the fun part, right? Because then you can go over, congratulations, Dragon, you are a Christian again, right?
Yay!
And now that you are a Christian again, try to justify your use of logic.
Mm.
And there's a very easy way to do it, but if you're not sure how, then I can tell you.
Yeah, you're probably gonna have to tell me. I'm gonna say the wrong thing.
Okay, no, that's fine. Easy peasy way to justify it. We appeal to logic because God is logical. We worship a rational God. In fact, the creator of logic, the embodiment of it. He is the truth. He describes himself as such, right?
Mm-hmm.
And because we worship a rational God who has created us with rational minds and put us into a rational world, we have every justification in the world to say, yeah, logic is a perfectly viable way to perceive the world because God has granted us revelation through his creation that we can use that. And now you have an ultimate standard by which you can appeal to. And it has to be God. And if you do that with any other worldview, atheism included, it becomes so absurd it stops making sense. Christianity is the only worldview in which uh, logic and reason can make sense because of divine revelation of those aspects.
That is such a crazy thing. So, what about other
It's,
religious, let's say, just text in general that appeal
yeah,
to God as well? Would they have the same argument?
well, they'd be closer. So the thing is, this is sort of an atheism killer more than
Mm.
anything, but it is also exclusively an argument that can be used for Christianity. The other religions can't really appeal to it either. Now they can sort of appeal to it, so they can say they can
I think
use it to
Judaism
prove
would
that
be
they're
the closest, since
Judaism would probably be the next closest. Yes, I think you're right there. Then Islam after that, I would say. And then from there, you stop having monotheistic religions and you start having lots of not
fun stuff.
justifications for a logical God. Yes. Which, fun fact, is why we're called to correct people with sound reason because we worship a logical God who wants us to use logic to do that. But in other worldviews or other religions, while they may be able to claim, okay, so we have a God who has granted us this revelation, they all stumble across a similar problem, and it's that their God isn't personal like ours is, right?
Hmm.
Now, who is the person of Jesus? Well, Jesus is quite often called the Logos, or in other words, knowledge, right? Because he is the Word of God. He is the one who grants knowledge, right?
Hmm.
Now, the reason we can understand Jesus is because he made himself look like us. In fact, he became us, right? And he became incredibly personal, showed us how we should live our life, told us the truth in human language that we can understand as a human from the human experience from a very personal perspective, right?
Yeah.
That is the most explicit example of the divine revelation of reason and logic that we could justify ourselves with. That God literally became a guy and told us to do that. No other religion has that claim. Every other religion has to appeal to something else. The Quran, for example, says that we cannot know Allah's thoughts. Well, if we can't know Allah's thoughts, then even if Allah's logical, then we can't appeal to that because he's not revealed it to us. Because if he had, we'd know his thoughts. So that doesn't work. Again, Judaism, it gets even closer still, but it doesn't have that personal revelation, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't have the logos, in other words. And so you end up with this unique argument that can only really prove Christianity true.
And that would pretty much. I was just watching a video on atheistic arguments, And they were
Mm.
like, even if any of these are true, it doesn't prove a specific God, so how's this the best argument for God? Because that was the question. And then he was
Hmm.
going through dismantling all of these separate arguments. But that one actually has merit to it. And it wouldn't
I hope it
prove a
does, and
God
I
in
hope I'm.
general.
Yeah, I mean, I hope I'm explaining it clearly as well, because it's something I'm struggling to understand, and it is a very because
I mean, it
we're
hurts my
well,
brain, but I get it.
yeah, I think it's sort of designed to hurt your brain a little bit because you're transcending what you just take for granted.
When you get into
Um,
deep, like, topics like this, I was gonna say, like, the word directly tied to it, but I forget it every time. I would have said, like, psychology or something. When you
oh
go
yeah,
into topics like this, deep ones too, I've seen videos, it gets so deep. I've stopped comprehending some of these, just watching some of those, because it was
yeah.
deep.
No, I'm
Actually, if
fully
God
with
is
you.
true, the Trinity is the only thing that makes sense. Watching that video, I was like, I'm just gonna agree because I don't understand anymore.
Mm. Now that one I'd be a little bit more confident explaining, because yes, the Trinity is the only form of God that makes sense in terms of a perfect being. All the other ones fall short. So now we have two things that we can appeal to here. We have logic and reason from the transcendental argument, and we have the Trinity being the only viable method of a perfect being, perfect God.
And both of those are directly tied to Christianity.
Exactly. No other religion can use those. Those are exclusive truth claims we can make as Christians that no other religion can. And on top of that,
We need this in the
we also have all the
apologetics.
various scientific proofs and normal apologetics that you've got, like cosmological the anthropic principle, all those.
Yeah,
You've
because I
got all
believe
of
those are
those.
general explanations.
They are, and basically what they're designed to do is just nudge someone in the direction of not immediately discounting the idea of God. Because the immediate reflex from an atheist, as the Bible says, for they suppress the truth in unrighteousness, what they'll do is they will convince themselves, oh no, God definitely isn't real, and they'll actually have a reflex that pushes against anyone mentioning God. I learned this quite young when I started talking to people about God who weren't Christians, because I grew up in a Christian environment,
That's how I
and then I
was.
started going outside of that circle, and I started realizing whenever I bring up anything to do with the name Jesus, anything to do with Christianity, it's like a light switch goes off in people. They just completely switch off and go, no, not interested. And so you don't want that to happen. You don't want people to be apathetic or to push back against it or reject it. And so what you need to do is just crack open the door a little bit. And that's what the Kalam cosmological argument's good for. That's what the anthropic principle's good for. The teleological argument. All of those are designed to crack the door.
I
To
think
basically
the
say,
issue
look,
that some people come into is they use it as like an end all be all in a lot of arguments. I've seen that a little bit.
yeah, and this is the problem. And I can see why. It's because those arguments are actually quite easy to understand when you get down to it. But
But they also fall short in certain areas, especially when atheists say, well, we can explain this with our worldview.
yeah, this is the thing. And it results, weirdly, the transcendental argument actually results in the Bible is true because the Bible is revelation from God. Therefore, the Bible is true because the Bible is revelation from God. Now that's circular,
Atheists hate
but
that so much. Oh my
they
goodness.
do. But the thing is, while it is circular, it's not viciously circular because it's harmonious. It makes sense within its own framework, right?
I mean,
And it's in fact
circular
the only
reasoning
framework.
isn't directly invalid. It's not like,
Um,
oh yes, this is untrue directly because, but
it it is when you're not talking about foundational
it's like you
principles.
can make the same
So,
thing about like myself. Talk,
mm,
explain to me yourself, prove to me yourself, but don't use yourself.
yeah,
It'd be circular, but it'd be correct.
yeah, yeah, and because that's a foundational thing, right? You're going back to what is the actual origin of self. Well, hello, I am here. Good day. That, yeah, as you say, it would be circular, but it would be a foundational argument. But if the argument's talking about something that isn't foundational, in other words, it's contingent on other things, then that's where circularity becomes an issue.
Mm-hmm.
So circularity works if it's about a foundational concept that can rely on itself. And there are very few of those. So we shouldn't get used to seeing circular arguments as valid. They are in a very rare few cases, and there's a difference between viciously circular and I want to say harmoniously circular, but I don't think that's the official term.
I'm gonna bring
So
up
don't quote me on
a
that one.
few things from chat because I see these too, and I don't know if they're still watching, so I kind of want to get to
Okay,
these.
Sure.
I'm gonna first one bring up this one. I would say their name. I'm just gonna use Lieutenant because that's the only thing I can really speak here. Isn't logic a result of mathematics being true? I would argue the
So
opposite, but I want to see your answer.
yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair, we discovered mathematics, and mathematics is logic. I would say it's a form of logic, right? So it's within that same bracket. Because effectively, what we're doing is we're
Because
breaking
since we
down
have logic, we have
values, and
mathematics.
exactly, they're sort of hand in hand. And again, so sorry, can you repeat the comment?
Isn't logic a result of mathematics being true?
So okay, so like we said, while it is harmonious, let's actually even grant your point and say, okay, so let's say that logic is a result of
Steelman.
mathematics being true. So let's steelman your point and say, okay, in fact, yes, logic is reliant on mathematics. I don't think that's true, but we can say that's the case for this argument because all you've done is push the problem back. Why can we trust mathematics?
Dang.
And then we're back to square one, right? And again, we can trust mathematics because mathematics is a logical system and we worship a logical God, which justifies the use of logic. We can just appeal to him and say, yeah, we use logic because the God who made us is logical. And his mind reveals to us what logic is and how we should do it and grants us the capacity to do it. And he's created a universe in which it's possible because there are natural consistencies. So there's lots and lots of reasons why we can justify that. You can justify it with passages in the Bible, in fact, and just go ahead and say, look, here's multiple places where God says, yeah, wisdom is good, knowledge is good, reason is good. Do all of that. Follow it. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, and mind, in fact, because you are meant to be thinking people, because our God is the way, the truth, the life, and the truth is the bit we're talking about here, being logic and how the universe is made up of metaphysical, logical stuff, basically. What's your thoughts on that?
I mean, you said it perfectly. I don't
Oh,
even know if I have anything to add.
I know I'm perfect, darling. Yeah, well, there you go. If you think of anything, feel free.
The thing that I... Okay, words, how do I word this? Here we go. The reason I didn't do this next one first is because I know this is such a huge topic. I mean, the whole argument, that 8 pages of text I laid out with that other guy with argument was about the same topic. And it was Braddock asking, if God is good and loves all of us, why do people suffer, including Christians? And I know this topic's going to be huge, and I'm going to have to refer to the comments. And then we're also going to get into, like, a different thing that I haven't touched much on. I forgot what it was because it left my brain as I was about to say it.
Well,
suffering is good because growth. That was the thing I'd also have to touch on.
Yeah, well, in fact, you could claim that because the Bible directly says suffering builds character, right?
Perseverance. You also have multiple passages in James.
Yeah, the whole thing is we're being refined. Now, you could say, oh, well, what about the people who suffer and just die, and it seems pointless?
God says everyone has a way out of everything in Corinthians, so...
There is that, but you could even grant it, and you could say, well, okay, let's just assume that people are trapped and they don't have a way out, right? Bearing in mind that we, as a Christian people, worship a metaphysical God in which death is not the end, right? So that suffering, while it may seem pointless from a materialistic standpoint, is still going to have value because there will be a resurrection.
Atheists
and that person
will hate that one, though.
Back.
It's like, they're dying. They're dying. And it works because it's true, but they're also going to be like, no.
Yeah, but the problem is, if they're doing an internal critique, right? They're saying, why would a good God make people suffer? They're already presupposing that good exists in order to make that critique. So if they're doing an internal critique, this is it. And they're saying, right, look, suffering is objectively bad. You're assuming that in order to make the claim that the idea of a good God and suffering are in opposition. And so if you're doing an internal critique, we can just use fully Christian arguments to debunk that. We don't even need to appeal to atheism because you're doing an internal critique.
That's what I pulled out with the atheists I talked to. So I was like, well, if we're defining based upon the Bible, then this, this, and this. I mean, God is just, God is good. Based on all these presuppositions, you're just wrong.
Yeah, yeah. And he goes, oh, but I don't believe in the Bible. It's like,
And the
okay,
thing
so
is, he told
why?
me to refer to the Bible when talking about the Genesis flood. So I was like, well, answers in Genesis, and like it could be regional. Some scholars believe this and that. He's like, no, the Bible says this. You have to only use the Bible. I was like, okay, I'll only use the Bible.
What was his claim? That the flood was global and you were pushing back against that? Or
I was
what was
saying
happening?
that like scholars generally believe the flood is global, but depending on interpretation, it can be separate. And then he's like, no, you can't use answers in Genesis, and you have to say the flood is global, so you're just wrong. And he got angry. And I was like, okay,
Okay.
you're pushing back on me using the Bible here, but not
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. Well, again, I don't even think you need to relinquish that. You can even just lead into the fact that, yeah, the flood was global and he killed everyone except for, uh, I forgot, Noah. Noah. I forgot. I was like, well, who was the guy with the boat? Noah and his family. Yeah, we could even just claim that, and God would have every right to do that.
Yeah, I
Um,
also said morality is subjective too. I went into everything on him except for like suffering. Oh no, I did suffering has purpose too. Man, I did everything.
mm. But I understand that that's going to be unsatisfying to an extent when they say, "Oh, why would a good God cause suffering?" And we can say, "Oh, because suffering builds character." And they go, "Oh, but some of it feels purposeless." That's one argument, and I think it's a very valid one where we can say, "Look, um, suffering does build character from a non-material standpoint as well as a material one, but also." There is a direct reason why there's suffering as well. So it's not just that God said, I'm going to make you suffer because I'm going to build your character through that way. It's also because a just God needs to be able to punish, right? If a
Mm.
God can't punish, then he's not just, because otherwise he just lets everyone off the hook. Now, what's the punishment for, let's say you're a child in a grocery store and you run away from your parents? What happens now? Well, you're suffering now because you are away from your parents. You're lost. You're confused. You're in a sea of people you don't know. Who knows what could happen, right? But
And
you
that was
have
from
chosen
you.
to run away from your parents. Now, what we do when we choose to run away from God is we separate ourselves from the source of good. And that's going to result in some pretty inevitable results. And that is going to look like things like natural disasters because the more sin is in the world, think of God as a purging fire in which he is so good. In fact, no, you can think of him as a light and sin is dark. Very
I
simplistic to
brought
put,
up
right?
this exact explanation, right? In the Old Testament, it says that if you are not purified and you go before God, you die. That
Yes.
is the difference.
Yes, this is it. But that's true of everything. Everything. And what we learn in certainly in Leviticus is that sin is not just a personal mindset. It's not just a thing that is an action. It also seems to have almost a spiritual physicality to it. It affects the world around us when we sin, right? Things become more corrupt. Things become worse. This is completely unfounded, but I think that um, cancer is a direct result of the prevalence of sin in the world. It's literally the
Mm.
creation becoming malformed and corrupt before our eyes. And
Ooh.
that is a result of separating ourselves from the vine, where we are literally withering away. Um, and so you can see the physical consequences of sin in the world. They may not be your fault, but there's sin sprinkled all over the place. So everything is getting less good as a result. Hence why we need the purifying blood of Jesus. That's a pretty
And then
cool
you don't
thing that
even
he
have to
did for
rely on
us.
fallen world for that argument either.
No, well, I mean,
In a sense,
it,
but
it almost is the fallen world argument that I've made there, where we have fallen away and filled the world with sin.
in a way, yes,
So
but also no.
yeah, exactly. It was initiated through the first sin with Adam and Eve.
Hmm.
But we continue to eat that apple every single day of our lives when we choose to go against God. So people say, "Oh, it's not my fault. I wish I was around in the Garden of Eden." You would have eaten the apple as well because you're doing it every day.
Because it is
So
just
it's
disobedience in general.
it is. It's just choosing to go against God, and I don't know about you, but I do that regularly, and I am not happy with myself
And
for it.
it is taught that all sins are willingful.
Yeah, this is it. This is why, not to jab at the Catholics while I'm here, uh,
Oh,
this is why it doesn't make sense to me the difference between, I think they call them venial sins and mortal sins, right?
Mm.
because the difference is that venial sins aren't done knowingly, right? Whereas mortal sins are done in full conscience, that you know that you're doing this thing against
Wait,
God.
that's the separation?
I actually wrote it down in my little document that I've got. Let me just double check that, because I
Because
don't
I
want to
never
give
made that
you.
correlation.
Yeah, I've written them down, and if I can go and find it, then I can tell you what I've written verbatim. Over here we go. Roman Catholicism. Okay, so mortal sins need to meet 3 criteria, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it needs to involve, first of all, a grave matter. Now that basically is something that's like, not going to church on a Sunday. That would be considered a grave matter, right?
Really?
Yeah,
Oh.
that would be something fundamentally against God, right?
Uh-huh.
So that's one way they would define a grave matter. There'll be all sorts of different ways. I mean, obviously, you get the obvious grave matters like killing someone, but there are grave matters which people commit every day, or Sundays in this case. But so the first thing is it needs to involve a grave matter. The second point is it needs to be committed with full knowledge of its seriousness, and the third point is it is done with deliberate consent. Right now, I
Hmm.
would argue that is true of all sins. However, the Roman Catholics have a little get out of jail free card here, where the second point there, it is committed with full knowledge of its seriousness. What they can say is, oh, well, if you don't have full knowledge of the seriousness of it, if you're a little bit naive,
What
then
if I
it's
just
okay. It's not a
argue
mortal
that
sin.
I'm like 1% naive to something and still do it anyways, though?
Yeah, well, they would count that as a venial sin in theory, but obviously they can't claim to know. So I say that point there is sort of meaninglessness, because if you do subscribe to that and say, oh, they need to have full knowledge of its seriousness, well, none of us have full knowledge of the consequence of our sins. It's just not the case. So with that argument, you could argue that nothing is a mortal sin, but we know some things are mortal sins because Catholics regularly go to confession. And they do that because of their mortal sins and their venial sins as well, but their mortal sins are the ones they really need to
Oh, I
purify
didn't know that.
themselves from. Yeah, well, they can die with venial sins, and all that means is they spend a bit more time in purgatory. If they die with mortal
Mm.
sins without confessing them, that's it. They're donezo.
Oh. Oh.
So
Dang.
it's a problem. Again, I'm saying this just for the audience. As a Protestant, I really try my best to represent them fairly, but if I don't, that's my fault.
Crisis
So
King is gonna beat you up because you're
he is.
misrepresenting Catholicism in front of people and they
He's
have no way of
he's gonna
defending
make a hit
themselves.
humiliation piece on me in some document somewhere.
That's great.
um, but anyway,
Just a slight call
um,
out, just a little,
yeah, I'm
just
a little bit, I'm a little upset. It's fine. Uh, so, but the idea is that because you've got mortal sins being sins that you commit with full knowledge, I don't think there's any such thing as a Christian committing a venial sin. I don't think you commit a sin without realizing you're committing a sin. You do something and then you immediately go, "Oh, I know that was bad.
I mean, even
I
for
should
an
have done that."
atheist, right? You can still say that in a way they still know what they're doing. You also have the verses
Yeah,
saying that people are without excuse. They have the
yeah. Well,
moral
this is
law
it.
written on their hearts.
This is exactly it. So it's there's a lot of biblical basis that goes against the Catholic teaching here. There was a point that I was making around this, and I'm trying to remember what it was before I looked up the difference between venial and mortal sins. Um, I'm sure it was important, but what was it? What was I saying? We were addressing a question, weren't we?
What if I say I forgot to? I
So
got
anyway,
him.
we're just bashing on Catholics again. We'll be back at it again next week.
Mmm.
Oh dear. I am really trying to remember. There was a point that I was making for this. The whole point of sins and mortal sins, and we were talking about how sin corrupts the world,
Yep.
and that kind of thing. And there was a point that I was making, and I can't remember it. If anyone remembers and is listening enough to these rambles, do feel free to remind me in the comments, please. I'm at a loss here.
I think our rambling
Um,
scared everyone away, guys.
oh, I'm sorry. I got you a bunch of followers and they just dipped.
They just said no.
They're like, I'm gonna follow this guy, but it's bedtime, so good night.
Let me
I'll
see.
follow him in the morning.
Oh, okay. I got 2 subscribers on my YouTube channel, so that could have
Boom.
just been from shorts. They might not have even been here.
You know what? I am impressed with your shorts. They're coming up in my recommended now.
Are you
Which
for
is fun.
real?
Yeah. So sometimes I will. I mean, to be fair, the algorithm is probably recommending them more because I click them every time I see them.
Ah,
But also sometimes I'll just be scrolling, and one will pop up, and I'll go, "Oh, it's Dragon.
it's me.
It's you." So yes, there is a bat, my friend.
At
Sorry, I saw on your stream. I think because there's a stream delay, um, but there was a bat on the screen for a moment, and I got excited. Oh, I can see you looking around for it now. There you are. Yeah, there it is.
I found him.
Bat friend, my people.
The vampiric overlords.
Yes. Oh, you know what? I'm jealous of the Catholics. They get to drink blood.
Oh, you see, if you just want to be a vampire, just be Catholic.
Just be Catholic. Man, I wish they were correct.
Dang.
One of these days, I swear, I'm going to get... So, okay. I keep forgetting her name, but who's the really educated
Va.
Catholic girl in this? Va. So, because her name is in a different language, so I keep not remembering how to say it. I really need to talk to her more because she seems incredibly good faith in terms of explaining everything. Like, she's just fully willing to be like, yeah, let's just have a conversation about this. So I like that. And
I
she knows her
would
stuff.
tell you something that she said, but I would rather not get her called by the Catholic Church.
Oh, it's fine. Just message it to me.
Yeah.
Because now my curiosity will be insatiable until I know.
I got you.
But no, I think we would have a delightful conversation because I remember we had one conversation before, and it was on challenging Pope Francis, I believe. And that was wonderful. I think she engaged in full good faith there. So, she's very educated. She knows her stuff, and I think it would be great to have more talks. But I just don't have so much time. This is why I'm here at ridiculous hours of the day. It's terrible.
It's a little.
Ah, okay. I'm not surprised by that. Based on what I do know, and I won't say it on stream, but
Yeah,
will
she
say
might
at
be
least
getting a
I am-
call.
I'm outing her right now.
You're actually
She
being
told me she's a heretic.
excommunicated. So
Oh, that was an interesting thing I saw her post the other day. I saw she said that Protestants aren't excommunicated because only Catholics can be excommunicated.
because you have
right?
to have the knowledge.
Right. Which doesn't make full sense to me. This is another reason why I want to talk to her. It doesn't make full sense to me because if a Catholic didn't have the full knowledge of the faith, which is true of many Catholics, but they did hold very similar beliefs to me, if not the same beliefs as me, just with a little bit more Catholic sympathy, they would be excommunicated from the church. But because I am not a Catholic in title, but I have the same mindset, I'm therefore not excommunicated from the church?
I think it's based upon the knowledge that you will be excommunicated if you disagree with their views and like certain ones that are heretical. And so if you have those separate views and you're like Catholic and you know it's like not a Catholic view or okay for you to hold them, I think that's the explanation.
But so in other words, you would be so convicted by your beliefs that you would be willing to suffer the punishment of excommunication.
My question is like, so I've been told about some of these claims.
Oh, yeah.
Guys, what have you done to me?
Yeah, there's
I'm
a lot of funky stuff in
excommunicated
there.
before I even got in, guys.
This is what I'm saying, right? Aren't Protestants by their very nature excommunicated by default?
Like, if a Catholic gives them knowledge of Catholicism and then they
That's
continue
it.
being Protestant,
Why'd you tell me, guys? Now I'm going to hell.
dang it! I'll never get to
Oh,
participate in the Eucharist.
no, that's it. You're donezo.
I'm so
Get
sad.
the bin. Oh,
Now I
yes.
get
All
your
this to
point.
say, yeah. Which part of it?
The point about, like, what you were just saying about, like, Protestants. Because, like, I
In terms
know
of
a little bit. Would that
yeah, yeah, yeah.
then...
I assume what they would do is they would justify it by saying something along the lines of, because you actually haven't joined the Catholic Church, you never had enough knowledge to be
But what
excommunicated.
if I never join,
But you know more
but...
than some Catholics.
But, like, what if I then
This,
try to participate,
yeah,
like, in
with those
theory?
heretical views of yours. Yeah, like what if I go in and I say, actually, I really want to attend the Catholic Church, and I start doing that, and I start participating in the Eucharist and going, because I know enough about Catholicism, but I reject the perpetual virginity of Mary. Actually, no, that's not a necessary doctrine. I reject the
Sacrament
bodily
of
assumption of
confession.
Mary.
Just, like,
Yeah,
something
even
like
that,
that.
I don't even on principle reject the sacrament of confession. I don't see it as a sacrament. I see it as just a thing that Christians should do, confess to each other, right? Confide in one another. But I don't see it as like an official get in the box.
Mm.
Um, but there's things like the bodily assumption of Mary, right? The idea that Mary never died; she was taken up into heaven, much like Elijah and
Then
Jesus
you
and
have the
such.
recent co-redemptrix and all that stuff.
You do, although again, that isn't so much uh, excommunicative worthy, whereas denying the bodily assumption of Mary would be. So if I was
Mm.
to go into a Catholic church and call myself a Catholic and then say, "Oh, but also Mary died and wasn't assumed into heaven," then I would immediately be excommunicated. That's it, like hell for me.
Ah.
Um, but that's not true of certain other dogmas, like the perpetual virginity of Mary actually isn't one. Weirdly, and that doesn't
Wait.
make sense to me.
How does...
It's because what they do is they say that the Immaculate Conception is a necessary dogma, right? And that sort of almost assumes the perpetual virginity of Mary because of the Immaculate Conception, which I don't agree with. I don't think it follows. But they link those two together and say, okay, so if you don't believe in the Immaculate Conception, excommunicated.
Another
But if you,
thing is, like, if the Pope goes into his infallibility mode, right? And
yeah,
then
ex
says
cathedra, yeah,
something that is, like, very much so fallible and just wrong.
mm, yeah,
It's infallible, though, so if you disagree, you're heretical. But if it's wrong, then it's wrong.
yeah. Well, this is where a lot of Catholics say if the Pope ever went into ex cathedra and then said something wrong, the Catholic Church would be false, and they are honest about that. So I'll give them that. But also, I think the whole system of that is flawed. So I was thinking about this the other day, um, and I've realized effectively the claim of the Pope only being infallible sometimes is basically saying the Pope is only correct when he's correct.
Another thing is, like, they went back on their death penalty because Catholicism used to
Yeah,
enact
yeah,
death
yeah.
penalty, and I recently saw a thing of the Pope. It was like, death is not okay, and then he said, like, abortion wasn't okay and equalized the two things. And then how do you, like,
So
reconcile that?
I'm going to steel man them here. So he didn't say that abortion is okay.
He said
What he
that
did say is
death
you
is
can't be
wrong.
pro-life if you also believe in the death penalty.
Oh, you know it. Okay.
There you go. So that was his exact phrasing, and because of that, people weren't sure whether he was criticizing the death penalty or abortion. So, unfortunately, he left that vague. So, so we don't know what he meant. We
Mm.
know he was criticizing one of them, but we don't know which one. Um, the problem being that the Bible supports the death penalty,
The
And
only issue I have personally with the death penalty is it means that
oh yeah,
innocent people will be killed. That's my only
yes,
issue with it.
yes, absolutely, and I can absolutely see that as a risk. Unfortunately, um, I think the problem is that all you can do there is try and make your justice system as just as possible and as rigorous as possible. This is why you have the whole innocent until proven guilty thing. So you try and avoid that as much as possible, but at the same time,
It will happen.
uh, it will happen. But it's also what God commanded, right?
Hmm.
You see him multiple times saying, "Hey, death penalty for sins," and also the wages of sin is death. That's like a principle anyway. But he also commands it for uh, Israel, just as a nation, and says, "Yeah, you need to institute the death penalty. If people do these things, die." Um, so I don't really see a way around that,
I think the
other
biggest
than
issue is when you don't have God and you have the death penalty. I think that's where the issue would come
yeah.
into.
So do you mean from an atheistic perspective?
Yes, like if you just don't have God and you have the death penalty in specific, then
Oh, sure, sure. So if your nation itself is atheistic and secular, and then you institute the death penalty, um, is that what
because
you
you
mean?
also get into moral subjectivity there, but it's also the issue of you don't have a higher thing to appeal to in such case.
Yeah. Well,
That's
this is
also
the
hard to
problem with
word.
atheism. The problem is that a lot of atheists don't tend to understand that laws are created on the basis of moral systems. And what they say is, oh, well, we'll just vote and create the moral system as we go. It's like, that's not quite how this works. It needs to reflect the moral character of the nation. That's the whole point of a law. And if the nation can't agree on what its moral character should be, you're in for a civil war, buddy.
Ooh,
So,
we gotta
because
follow.
then you have, as you say, you have the death penalty, and then you have unjust laws coming into place.
Welcome
And
in,
you want
Grace.
the laws to be as close to objectivity as you can. Gracie Lynn.
Another thing I kind of meant by that, but it's also really hard to word, is that you
Mm-hmm.
also can't go to God. Because in most cases, when you have a death penalty type situation, it has been commanded by God in some sense.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't, because that's the best way to, like, make sure it would be just. But it's also hard to be like, oh yeah, just talk to God and he'll give you the answer. it's, it's hard to
Yeah,
word
I
that.
mean, this is where the good old Protestant doctrine of sola scriptura comes in. I don't think we can base laws on what God told me in a dream. I do think we can base laws on scripture. And we can say, look, okay, well, at least we have this unchanging standard being the word of God right here. We can just appeal to that. And that's an unchanging foundation. We can just use it. So people will perceive it in different ways, but then they'll perceive laws in different ways and language in different ways. So that's unavoidable to an extent. But you can appeal to scripture absolutely and be like, hey, look, here's the standard of morality. It's cool. It's good. If that makes sense. You got me. You know it.
Because the other thing, I bring this up so much time. So much time?
So
So
many
much
time.
time. I
So
love
many
so
time
much
I bring this
time,
up.
but it's something that I know Shellick brings up a lot. It's like general consensus on an idea should mean that it's instituted or similar. And I'm always like, every time, man, I'd hate to be you in Germany in like the 1940s.
Yeah.
This is a great thing to
The
hold.
the problem is they're reflecting a sentiment which I don't think a lot of people recognize nowadays, in that the only reason we have nations is because a group of people with similar ideas decided to be in the same place. And as soon as you have a nation where people don't have similar ideas, it breaks down and it just eats itself. So the idea is that democracy is meant to be a clear path to go right. So, because we all have similar ideas, we should hopefully get as much of an overwhelming majority for this law as possible, and that will justify it. But what's happening is, because there's now this cultural mishmash that's going on between lots and lots of different ideas, you have sort of complete moral warfare. when no one agrees on anything, why are we even settled in the same place? And all that will result in is lots of fighting, I think, anyway. And that's then going to result in people just splitting off and going and settling with people that agree with them again. That's it. That's all that's going to result from that. Which is unfortunate, but is the situation we appear to be in.
And that's happening all over the globe, pretty much.
Yeah, it's happening here. It's happening in your country. Um, it's sort of a worldwide phenomenon. I don't know if worldwide is the right word. Maybe in all the Western nations, it's happening certainly, but it is happening.
I mean, I know
Also
Somali
in
had those laws come into place about you don't have to be Muslim anymore and the 18 plus thing, and
yeah.
I
So
think they
you've
revoked
definitely
that.
got it happening elsewhere as well. But you've got a really extreme example where usually in each place it'll be like one or two major ideas that are duking it out. But in the
And then you have
Western
all of
nations,
them.
it's just a free for all. It's just every single idea all in one place, all vying for dominance. Um, and the problem is you can't even blame them because they think they're right. Right? You can't even say, "Oh, stop disagreeing with each other," because it's like, well, they they think they're right. So all you can do is
Mm.
debate and try and reason with them and lead them over to your position. You can't just be like, "Hey, stop disagreeing with people so hard. Just get along. Believe different things and get along." It doesn't quite work like that, unfortunately. There are ideas that are incompatible, and you're just not going to get people to get along no matter what you do.
I see that argument also being used for, like, no immigration and stuff.
Well, yeah, that's a big source of it, I think. Which I
There's
don't want to
also
say too
some
loudly on the internet.
racist ideals in there, too, though.
Well, there are, and
The
the problem
Muslims
is
are
that
gonna take over our country.
well, I don't think that's a racist argument
I
because that's
mean,
talking about an idea. It's a religion, right? It's not a race.
well, that's fair. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
So at that point, you are just talking about another idea. And if you're then saying, "Hey, we disagree with Islam," I mean, would you want Islam to be the dominant idea in your country?
Let me see if I can pull it up. I'm trying, because
Pull
I'm
what?
not good at
Pull what
explaining
up?
this. I saw this one time. The thing
Oh,
I'm
okay,
pulling up, like the racist whatever word. Because I saw this in an
okay,
atheist video too. I was like, oh, this actually kind of makes sense.
okay. I shall refute it for you.
Hmm. Thing is,
Whatever it is, I don't know the proper name of it.
oh my goodness, how do I find this? I don't even know what it's called.
Is it going to be in your history? How long ago did you watch it?
It was a while.
Ah. Did you like it? As in,
With
did you click the like button?
no,
Oh,
it was.
that's what I'll do. If I find a video that I
Hold
think is
on,
very,
I
very
know who it
useful.
is though. Now I'm gonna have to find his channel. It's like Skeptic something.
You're not thinking of Cosmic Skeptic, are you?
I'm gonna look that up and see. Oh,
That's a pretty
that's
popular
Alex
channel.
O'Connor.
That is Alex O'Connor.
That is not who I'm looking up.
No, I did wonder. I would have thought you'd remember his name there.
Come on. I'm actually gonna crash out. This is. He might be in my history.
Ooh, that was a nice little rhyme you just did there.
Let's see. We're gonna go all the way back.
We're going back in
'Cause
time.
I watch, like, most of my stuff is religious now just because of my watch history and subscriptions.
This is good.
My For You page has been all over the place. I'm gonna find this. I really like Dinks the Puppet. That guy, I like him. He's a puppet,
Yeah,
but he's cool.
I keep seeing him. I'm not even subscribed to him, but I've now clicked enough of his videos that he does appear in my recommended
Yeah,
daily.
he's
So it's
all
like I'm
over the
subscribed
place
to him.
for me.
He's a fun little guy. Do you remember the core of the idea that you were trying to get across in the video?
Because it was something about how, like, people or something were going to move over into a different state or whatever and take it over,
Mm.
and it was
Hmm.
racist
Oh.
or like some word that's used that has also lost meaning because it's been used so much, but this time it's actually kind of merited if I can
Uh-huh.
find it.
So, as in, it was racist that the people are doing that, or it's racist to believe that they're doing that?
To believe.
To believe they're doing that. Okay, interesting.
Oh, wait, I think I found him. Found him. I found him.
Excellent.
Genetically modified skeptic. This is the guy.
Oh, I know him.
Most of his
I
stuff
know that
is
guy.
really bad, but
Yes, I.
because a lot of it doesn't have founding. Let me see.
Yeah, I've seen him around. You know what though? The videos I have seen of him have been quite good faith. Bad arguments, good faith.
Yeah, I've debunked a lot of his just on my own time because I was bored. It's in this video because he talked about it in here about how like your normal Christian mom will have this racist view or whatever.
Mm,
Um, it was in the I infiltrated a Christian ministry as an atheist.
okay.
I'm
That's one of the first recommended videos that came up for him when I looked him up there. So,
looking for the part where he pulls up the Wikipedia page, whatever else it is, because he talks about a different video about like conspiracy theories that he believed as a Christian homeschooled child.
oh,
Thing is, this is an hour-long video, so I'm probably just going into the transcript.
that's fair enough.
Your Christian mom probably thinks this stuff. Okay. What are we looking at? Conservative talking point and belief thanks to Christian fascists like Charlie Kirk. Cool, buddy. Where is it at?
Okay, so he's not a fan of Charlie Kirk.
Great replacement conspiracy theory.
Oh, wait, he called that a conspiracy theory?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Okay.
And there are copy link. That's of what Charlie Kirk said, and there's ones of Elon Musk saying it. It has like a whole thing of like who's saying it, but this is the Wikipedia page.
What do you think of it?
If true,
If
I
we
don't think it's
if we can
racist.
even talk about it on Twitch.
If it's actually happening, you should be able to say the Muslims are taking over my country.
Mm,
If it has no merit and you're just saying people are coming into my country and taking over and it's untrue, I would say that that is in
mm.
whatever sense of the word.
Yeah, and do you think it's true?
In what sense?
In terms of, do you think it's happening?
It could be. I
Okay,
do
fair enough.
see evidence in the UK for people just walking outside and getting jailed.
Yeah, it's not
You
great
can't really
here at the
comment on that
moment.
though. You'll have a knock on your door and being like,
I might do,
no more
yeah. I
rows.
don't know if they've started watching streams yet. It's if I post anything that tends to get scrutinized. Uh,
Hmm.
but I don't know if they'll track my voice down. But you haven't said my real name, so haha.
We
Who
got
knows who I
this.
am? I'm just Rose. That's all. That's not linked to
Hmm.
me. Don't worry about it. It's not great here. Uh, but yes, I think that's fair enough. Yeah, a lot of people will call that racist because a lot of people will, I think, break that down to skin color.
Yeah.
When in reality, it's entirely a theory about
Because I
culture,
talked to
right?
ChatGPT about it, so I was like, is this really racist though? And I was like, in a sense, yeah, kind of, but when it's true, is it really racist?
Well, this is the thing. And the idea is with the great replacement theory, then obviously they're basically saying, oh, our population is being replaced. Um, Now, usually what people will do is they will conflate our population with our skin color. And they'll say, ah, so it's a race thing. The reality, I think, is it's a culture thing. You're having people who are, for example, British, like myself,
Hmm.
and we have British values, which tend to be very Christian values, because that's what we were founded on. And then you have a lot of different cultures that are very against Christian values. And I think it's a pretty logical conclusion to then go, okay, what happens when a bunch of anti Christian value culture people come into the same area? What are they going to do? And
They
we are
are
seeing
going
the
to
results of what
replace.
they do. Well, they're going to replace, especially considering, and again, this is where they make it about race, they bring up the birth rates as well. Because the birth rates for Western nations is way, way, way down, right? We're below replacement rate at the moment. I don't know. Have you heard that before?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
think Japan literally is like adding funding so people will come out of their houses.
this is it. And because that's a biological claim, we're below the replacement rate. They then say, so again, you're making an argument about race. No. Children who are raised by parents within a culture tend to understand and therefore adopt that culture. If you have more children being born into families of a different culture, that culture is going to naturally become more popular in the area that you're in. And if you aren't having as many children, your culture, then there are going to be less people who take the time to understand and therefore adopt your culture. So your culture is going to be replaced effectively.
I'm also going to
And
start being more open just about topics like this in general, because I know we've like kind of tiptoed around them before, but I really don't think YouTube's gonna care.
I
We'll
hope
see.
it doesn't. And
If it doesn't, then we'll be able to have like more meaningful conversations per se.
yes, and I think this is it. This is why I want to talk about this stuff, because it is genuinely important. Um, and YouTube says, no, you can't talk about important stuff on our platform. That would be useful.
I mean, you already have people talking about politics. It's just also you have the issue of sponsorships at the same time, but I don't have to worry about
You
that.
do, but and you also have like certain words that you can't use, and it's getting ridiculous. People are like, they're bleeping the most innocuous of words. I don't understand it. Well, I
Guys, we
understand
can't
why
say
they're doing it,
kill
but I don't.
or murmur. Mm-mm-mm.
Exactly. Like they're replacing them with other words, and I'm like, oh, okay.
I mean, if you're
So
still
you
talking about the
can.
topic, you're still talking about it, though. It's not.
Well, this is it. Well, for example, if I play a video game that has a kill death ratio counter on the screen, can I just not
My
talk about that?
alive death ratio.
It's live and unalive death ratio.
Yep.
Wait, no, I said death.
Uh, 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 dang it.
Exist and not. Oh, I'm bad.
It's over.
Yeah, it's getting a little ridiculous.
Call of Duty with its
But
voice chat restrictions.
that's where I think there's a lot. There's a lot of people that will make the claim it's racist. I don't see that really. I don't know. Maybe I'm unknowingly racist, and maybe that's why I see it. But hey, who knows? I hope not.
I think ChatGPT told me that it's like, well, you're assuming an entire group of people is purposefully coming into this place and replacing you and your nation. And so
But the
that
thing is, it
is
doesn't even
bad.
need to be purposeful, right? They can just want to come here and
Actually,
then
that's
come
a good
here and
question.
have
Is the Great Replacement have to be purposeful? Like, for this
so it
theory.
doesn't by definition. So it doesn't actually have to be purposeful. Well, okay, I say that's a bad way of putting it. The idea of the Great
With
Replacement conspiracy
complicity
theory.
or cooperation of replacist elites.
Yes. So the idea is that the people coming over aren't necessarily trying to replace the culture, but there will be a concerted effort to be like, hey, we're going to bring in more people specifically on the basis that we want to replace. And you'll see this in politics where, for example, not to get too political here, but Democrats will fling open the borders and say everyone is welcome. We don't need borders. You can just come in whoever you are. And then that results in a whole bunch of people coming over from other countries and saying, well, I want to keep the borders open because it let me come over and it'll let my family come over. So I'm going to vote Democrat. So they're importing a voter base, right?
And then they would call you racist.
Yes. Which obviously
Spacey's
I
here.
don't see. I don't see the logic there. I don't see how it goes back to race, of all things. It seems like a massive oversimplification to say it's down to skin color. Um, but that's the main thing. It's culture that people are talking about. Um,
Yeah, because if it's unfounded, then I can see it. But right now, you have evidence. You have.
yeah, and the problem is, I will say, not all cultures want to come and replace us. They just want our success. They want to come over and go, yeah, well, I want to live in a relatively free land where I have opportunities and higher GDP income.
But if
That would be
anyone comes
nice.
over with separate ideals, it's automatically going to be replacing a different thing if they are instituted.
This is the thing, and that's unintentional on their part, but we do need to be aware of that, especially when there's so many of them in comparison to the local population, which is below replenishment rate. So you need to then go, okay, hang on, wait a second, which culture is better, per
And
se?
just
Which is,
to, I guess, exemplify this, not to like be or say anything, just to exemplify this, right? Let's say it's a Muslim coming over with their 7 wives or whatever. They're
yeah,
automatically going to be having way more children than the average Christian household.
yeah. This is the thing. It's the Western nations that are down in terms of replenishment rate. The Eastern nations and pretty much the rest of the world. Not Japan. Japan's having the same problem as us. But most of the Western nations, in
Pretty
fact,
sure
all of the
Japan
Western
isn't
nations, but
religious, like, in general.
no, but they still have problems making babies, unfortunately, for various different reasons.
Just
But
the culture that's somehow developed in there. I think it's called
this
otaku
is it.
culture.
No, you're thinking of people who go over to Japan. That's actually a tourist thing.
Ah, okay.
So
They called it
otakus
something
would,
culture. I'd have to
yeah,
look it up. Where they just stay in their house for months on end and don't go outside. I don't know what that's called.
yes,
They have a specific word for it.
hermits.
It's
Is what I'm gonna say.
um what?
But that, yeah, you're probably right. There probably is a word for it. But but they're having a similar problem. But no, the point is that
Welcome in,
the
Dark
rest
Lord.
of the world nations are not having that problem at all. They're replenishing just
Ah,
fine. In fact, oh yeah,
Hikiko Mori. I cannot say that.
Hakika Memento Mori. I knew it.
Hikiko Mori. This term
Hakiko
describes
Mori.
individuals who are severely withdrawn from society, staying at home and avoiding social life for at least 6 months.
Yeah, that's not going to make many babies.
Yeah.
Um, but no, you will also, not only that, you will also get people who will maliciously come over here and say we're going to replace you. So it's sort of all over the spectrum where you get people who are deliberately doing it, you get
I
people
mean, you
who are
can't say
accidentally doing it.
people won't. You can't really argue that.
No, well, some people even
Oh,
claim that
yo,
they
someone joined.
are. Who
Hello,
joined?
my name is Dr. Lord Zemo. I'm on
Good
your
lord,
stream.
Dark Lord Zemo, welcome.
That's a that's a name.
I
That
just
is a
thought it
name.
looked cool. Don't judge. Don't.
Nah,
Yes,
I think it's fire.
Yeah,
Dark
agree.
Lord Zemo.
I,
Um,
I I wanted to be Zeno, but that was already taken.
Mm.
that's all right. It just makes you unique.
Yeah,
You get to be the
Well,
Dark
welcome.
Lord
Are you
Xeno.
new here? I haven't actually looked at the whole
yeah. I
chat
just
page.
I followed you as well. Literally just
Welcome.
Oh,
joined it.
he just
So
joined. Wow.
yeah, literally just joined.
We
Welcome
got a
in.
baby boy.
Uh,
So okay, well,
uh,
we've got to ask the question, right? You've joined
In
a
the middle
good
of this
Christian Minecraft
conversation.
server.
in the debate, yes, I can see
Well,
that.
I don't even think
Kinda.
it's debate. I just think we're just agreeing in an enthusiastic way.
Yay.
Um, but I want to know: do you have a religion that you follow?
Yes and no. I put it
Oh,
with me. It's a little bit more complicated. I do consider
okay,
myself Christian,
Mm.
okay,
but
Now I'm
I do
intrigued
not
now.
condone. I do not. I just that's literally it. I've made
right.
my own convictions and own biblical things. I don't condone to any denomination or Christian side of things.
Oh,
Okay, so
that's
you're
interesting.
non-denominational, effectively.
Not even that, because I don't, because non-denominational
The
is basically a
literal
denomination.
definition of
Literal, yeah, the literal
denom.
denomination of it, not the what they want to call it.
Okay, so
Non-denomination.
for example, I'm a Baptist, right?
Yes.
How
What
would you
kind
differ
of
from me?
Baptist? What kind of Baptist first?
Oh well, bearing in mind that I'm going to be very different because I'm in the UK, so we
Okay.
don't have the equivalent of like a Southern Baptist over here. It's just sort of like a
Okay.
UK Baptist.
Well, then let me put it this way. Is the UK Baptist more similar to the Southern Baptist, or is it more similar to like the fundamental independent Baptists?
We're sort of very bare bones. Like we're I count us as almost the most pure version of Protestant that there is, which will probably
Do you
anger someone if I say it that way.
No, that's
But
You're not the
so
pure-blooded.
you believe in dressing professionally to go to church and very traditional hymns, or do you do like more
so
contemporary style music or
not
the
even
other?
that. It's a case of you can dress how you like. I think it's a good idea to dress nicely for church, but that's more a state of your own mind
Personally,
than it
yeah.
is a necessary thing.
Okay, I had
Um,
to ask because some of the independent Baptists that they have in the U.S. are very particular. They're
yeah.
very old, very traditionally in that sense. I went to that's one of the big reasons why I don't condone to any denomination, because they all have their own issues.
Oh
And
yeah.
really and truly, I don't even go to church because I just find there's way too many problems with there that go involved with and going even the good, what I consider a good church, it's just too many problems that I'm not going to be a part of
Interesting.
Ooh.
or
Okay,
condone.
the main thing that I'd say really distinguishes Baptists from other Protestant denominations is the fact that we don't believe in infant baptism, right? So
That's a
we'll say
lot.
that.
Yeah, that's a lot of yeah, but that's one thing I don't really believe in either. Yeah.
So you'd probably fall in line with that a little bit. But what do you think we would disagree on? Is there anything that you think that is an unconventional Christian belief that you hold?
Uh, I don't know if this is the same in the UK, but
Okay.
I don't know if it's a common thing, but I don't believe that being married it means you have to sign the paper. I believe you can make the same commitment to God without having to go through a legal process and still be married in his eyes.
Okay.
Depends on the meaning.
Here's my reasoning for that though.
mhm.
If just to the fact that historically there was no back in the biblical times there was no legalized form of marriage. There's
Oh
really
no, there was absolutely.
yeah, but there wasn't no signing of a paper saying that you had to do this. It was very different back then, and that's what that's what why I don't. But I believe you can make the whole idea is you're making a commitment. The Bible says the whole idea the whole idea of marriage is you're making a commitment to this person before God. Why does there
But
have
it's
to be a
not just
paper?
before God, is it?
It's before everyone else, but you could again why do you have to sign a paper to
Mm.
show that commitment? That's my thing. What is the
Yeah. Okay.
significance of the paper? Because you can have the ceremony and everything even if you want to, but
hmm
the thing is, no pastor
If
will
you're just
do it.
talking about the paper, then I have to agree here. That's
Yeah,
my
Well, no.
personal thing.
but
Here's
the
the
thing
thing.
is now
I'm gonna say.
in
Go
the
ahead.
United States, a pastor will not marry you if you don't if you don't get
Really?
like do the whole license. Yeah, they will not do do a ceremony. You basically have to get someone to sign up and become anyone can at this point anyone can actually become an quote unquote officiant, but you don't
Mhm.
need they won't do it unless you do it the legal way. They will not officiate a wedding for you if you don't have the license and do their license way.
Yeah. Well, I think the main thing is I do believe you're correct by technicality. The only reason I'm going to push back on that is that I'm going to say when it comes to marriage, the idea is that we're meant to sort of lean into the spirit of it. Now, what do I mean by that? There are two forms of marriage. There's legal marriage and there's spiritual marriage. And the spiritual marriage is before God and your community, and the legal marriage is the piece of paper.
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to integrating into your society, which we are called to do as Christians, you want to be effectively recognizing in as many ways as you can that, hey, this is my woman, this is my wife, right? I've got this as my partner. And if that state then says, okay, well, here's our system for recognizing that, we've got this piece of paper. If it's not contrary to the Christian faith, I see that as almost a duty to your society to show, hey, look, as a Christian, I'm getting married and therefore
You're basically
remaining.
saying the same way you enter, I'm just gonna say covenant is like the same way of officiating in a way.
Not quite.
Mm,
It's more, for
I'm
example,
I'm
I
struggling to
guess you're.
if
word it.
you
I'm
if
kind of
you were to
struggling
set
to
a precedent,
understand too, is with that.
that's okay. Well, look, if you
Kind of.
set a precedent to say we don't actually need the piece of paper to be married, then all that's going to do is result in more ambiguity in marriage, effectively, because you're going to have a whole bunch of people that claim that they're married, but actually there's no official
You're
legal
saying you want
documentation
to
that
have
proves
the
it.
certainty, so you can't be like, oh, well, I could be doing something wrong by doing
Well, all you
this.
could do then is you could say, oh, I'm just going to sleep with this person, and now we're married, and oh, well, now we're divorced, and now I'm sleeping with this person over here, and we're married, and now we're divorced. That
Well,
piece of
then,
paper, that makes it harder to do that.
but the fact remains is it doesn't prevent it from happening. It still happens regardless.
Well,
So
that's why I said I think you're correct by technicality, but I would still
yeah,
disagree with your method.
yeah. I mean
So I think,
and then there's a lot of other financial situations that go on that like you if you get the legal, at least for us, like because I consider myself married to my wife. We had the little ceremony with our family that we did,
mm,
and we didn't go the legal way.
are you in America?
Yes, I am. I'm
Okay.
in the state of Louisiana.
Well, I don't quite know the marriage laws over there, but certainly over here, most of the money goes towards the ceremony. The actual marriage certificate isn't very expensive at all. You can,
No, it's
if you
not.
wanted to,
No.
you could have no ceremony and just go into an office and sign a piece of paper, and now you're married.
That is how it works here too. Yeah, we could do that. But
Mm,
she is on a lot of like insurances and stuff assistance from the government that if we got legally married because I'm working and making money of my own,
hmm.
my income would make it where she would lose all of those things and she wouldn't be able to get the medication and the stuff that she takes now because we wouldn't
Right.
be able to
Okay.
afford it. So that's one of the biggest reasons why I don't what that we haven't even bothered trying to do it that way. But
Yeah.
we
Okay.
still
So
wanted to be
you're in a
married.
situation where um, happy little welfare programs that are meant to try and help people out are actually disincentivizing marriage. Um,
It's
which
it's not really, but it's more just like I make too much money to be able to afford to be able to if get married like legally because it would combine our income at that point. I
and
would
then
we would
she'd
and then
lose her
she'd
welfare
lose all
benefits.
those she'd lose not really welfare, it's her medical insurance, her the money that she gets every month that from the Social Security. It's not really welfare. It's just
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
It's
Well,
not called
Social
welfare.
Security is welfare.
I
So
thought welfare
that's the
was
whole.
something else. I thought welfare was considered something else. But anyway, the
So
point,
the whole
the
welfare
point
state is that taxation is being taken to fuel social
for
outcomes.
for her particular, yes. For the way for what she gets, yes.
Mm. And I can see absolutely from a pragmatic point of view why you're choosing to avoid that in that case.
Yeah.
Um,
There's a
what I'd say is if you are given the opportunity where that doesn't become a problem if you get married in the future, then I do think it
if
would be in your best interests to
if she
solidly
wants
define it with the paper.
if she wants to, believe I have no problem with that. I'm not. I never said I was against it. I don't have to. I'm not
Mm.
gonna force her not to do it. But at the same time, I'm not gonna. It's not gonna change how I feel about it.
No, no,
Because
no.
to
Well,
me,
like I say,
right now we're married. As far as we call ourselves husband and wife, we live
mm,
together, we sleep together, and that's been we've been like that for 2 years.
yeah, and
Now
I can
we
see the
didn't
logic in that.
immediately start off like that. See, a lot of people want to think, oh, we moved too fast. No, we knew each other for a long time, but for at least a year before we did. And I
Yeah,
knew her family for a long time before that anyway.
but I would blame the government more than I would blame you there. I say that the government is disincentivizing marriage by doing that, by
Yeah.
introducing welfare
Well,
benefits that you lose if you get married.
the economy over here is so bad. It's not even. That's the least.
And
Honestly,
then
that's the
they're
least of
they're
the
they're,
problems
they're
we
cutting
have right
welfare
now.
as well, so
They're what? Sorry.
they're also cutting certain welfare systems as well.
Well,
But
the
it's not even right
fascinating
now.
thing
Right,
is,
right now, they're not even cutting it. They're just everything's stopping because the government shut down.
It's both.
well, that's true as well. It's both.
She
Um,
lost. She lost food stamps that
Yeah,
we
that's
were.
what I was talking about.
Yeah,
mm,
that's actually. Luckily, our state actually did some good and started paying it ourselves, which I feel like
Oh,
that should have been
wow.
how it was done all along. I think the state should have been more
That seems better, yeah.
instead of the federal government. So in situations like this, the whole country is not losing those benefits, especially the people that actually need it. Because I can
well,
understand not wanting certain people to get it because they're just choosing not to work, but the people that actually physically can't work because of a disability or something that rely on this money, it's screwing them over too.
well,
Because I can tell
It's
you right
just a
now,
well.
way
every
for the
I'm
government to stop paying money. That's
yeah,
kind of
and it's not like and I'm a strong Trump supporter. No, I'm just gonna say that right now. That do I agree with the way he's done everything so far? Not entirely, but I think he's doing a better job than the alternative. Much
mm,
better job. And right now, he is the one who's been him and the Republicans are the ones who've been pushing for the government to reopen. It's not their fault because they're all voting yes, and the Democrats are the ones that are holding it back because the Republicans don't have enough votes to
yeah.
reopen
Well,
it.
they're holding it
That's
hostage at the moment. I'm aware of
basically,
that.
yeah. But
I'm
anyway,
also not
But I
educated on the issue. I haven't
I've been
watched a
well,
lot
keeping
of
up with it.
politics videos recently.
I've been trying to keep up with it, but I am in another country, so that makes it
Yeah,
a
it
little bit
doesn't
more difficult.
really.
Yeah.
What I do know is, and you'll have to forgive me for my American law illiteracy here, um, but from what I understand, a lot of these food stamp cuts are designed to reduce taxes on people, which will then mean that while yes, you will get less food stamps, you will also get more money as a
Oh.
result.
I think there's a lot more that he's doing that's actually going to be reducing taxes, especially income
Mm.
taxes, because I think that's one of the biggest things that he has done is he's worked towards basically removing income tax completely.
Yeah, well, I think
Now,
that's one of the really bad taxes. There's two, I think. Income
well,
tax is terrible.
here's gonna be the here's
Inheritance tax is evil.
I don't have an inheritance, so I wouldn't know. But here's the problem with that. Though I don't. It depends on how obviously how much you actually make from your job.
Mm,
Here's gonna be what I think the problem is gonna come into play. So if you remove income tax,
mhm,
you get more of your check now. Good.
mhm.
You go by, but then I think when that fully takes effect, the next thing that's going to happen is the sales tax of each item of the items you buy at the store is going to skyrocket because there's
I
a
don't think
sales
that's a
tax.
necessary result.
Yeah, and it's going to make it worse for people who make less money than like the less than a certain amount of money every year. Now
Well,
it
hold
could
on.
be also it could also be beneficial to some people, but like I said, really depends on how much that increases
I
because right now
think
it's already pretty
depending
bad.
on the amount going to welfare is the amount of taxes that it'll actually take off by removing it.
Well, this is the idea, right? The less
Well,
welfare there is, the less taxes are needed, and the more of your money that you've worked for you can keep.
But I mean, I
but
hope the
then
government would look into it and be like, oh, well, there's actually enough to where if we cut this, it will be a large percentile gain back to the regular person. Because if
and
not, it's not really
ultimately
worth it.
and ultimately Trump has been working to do that. You know, he got a lot of backlash for not having quote unquote not having done anything to fix the economy over this first year that he's been. But that's just it. The damage was so bad to the economy from Biden that it's not going to be fixed in 1 year.
Mhm.
It could
It's
just be
impressive
COVID
that
in general, not even just a specific president's fault.
Oh, that I believe COVID was Biden's fault. Sorry, or
Oh,
the Biden administration. I believe
oh,
that was the only. I cannot tell you that's the only possible way they could have won in 2020. If not for the virus and so all that social distancing crap, I do not believe that he would have won that election. I fully and believe that he would not have won that. Had you seen anything on the? Had you watched the 2025 election, 2020 election, the 2020?
How much
You
can I say
watched this?
without getting shot?
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I don't care.
Look, I know you don't.
I don't know about other anyone watching the stream. I don't care.
I don't exactly live in a free speech haven at the moment, so
Well,
I'm just gonna tiptoe a little.
li- yeah, but
But
yeah.
to go
But
on to your marriage point again, I
yeah,
think it's
sorry.
perfectly understand. No, fair enough. I think it's perfectly understandable why you're not doing it. Um, if it were me, I would recommend making that line as clear as possible, as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Because that will. I mean, even if you have kids, right? There will be confusion if the kid is then like, oh, so okay, so you're married, and you go, sorta.
I just say yes, but not legally.
Well,
I
what
don't think he's
3-year-old
gonna
doesn't understand
understand
that,
it.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah, no, I think most. I tell that to most people. I tell that to everyone right now, and
No. But you're
they
you're
understand
probably
exactly.
speaking to adults, right?
Yeah, true. Oh, you mean to telling the child that?
Well, yeah, because the child's going to go, oh yeah, because you two
Yeah.
got married, and why don't you wear rings? What's going on? And they're not
Oh,
going to
we wear
understand any
rings.
explanation. You wear rings as well.
Yeah, we did that.
Brilliant.
Never said
Okay,
we did.
well,
Yeah, we have all. We the only thing that we don't do is have the paper. It's
yeah,
literally
okay.
we now they're not expensive freaking fancy rings. We couldn't afford that, but they're still wedding band rings. They're just not
Mhm.
made from expensive like gold or anything like that.
Yeah,
And
well, fair enough.
she had an engagement ring from my that I gave her. It was one of my late grandmother's rings.
Yeah, well, look, to be fair, based on that, I don't think there's a whole lot that's different in your
Exactly.
theology.
Yeah.
Um, again, but you were technically right in terms of the whole thing. It's just what we think is a good idea to do or not at that point, rather than
Yeah.
what's God ordained.
Yeah.
But in terms of your theology, if you're basically, it sounds like you're just a Protestant, basically, like sola scriptura,
I
sola
guess
fide.
yeah, because I don't think I'm not an overly traditional Christian. If that I guess so, I guess that would make me Protestant. I really don't know the difference. I just like to call. I don't. I just call myself a Christian.
Yeah, okay. Well,
Now,
hey,
the
stick to the Bible, you'll be fine.
that's what I do. I mean, there are still some things that I don't fully understand. I mean, there's always things that everyone doesn't understand. So
Of course.
like, there's no
Yeah.
there.
Well,
A lot. That's I like to think. I'm a very deep thinker, especially when it comes to that and just the scientific stuff too. Like the way it's because
mm,
science actually has, especially mathematical science, can actually prove more if that God exists than he doesn't.
yeah, there's stronger evidence. I agree with that. Um,
So that's one of the things I love to watch and stuff like that is like videos like that. Hold on,
well,
I'm
look,
mute myself
it's
real quick. I gotta take a call.
all right. Oh, there you go. We got a new one.
guys,
We reeled
we
it
got
in. We got him. Man, no, I'm gonna find out he's like in a Jehovah's Witness cult or something.
him.
He's like, yeah, we're basically
I was
exactly the
scared
same.
for a little bit there. He's like, "Oh, I'm Christian, but like not actually." I was like, "Oh no, he doesn't believe in Jesus."
I know. I was like, what does he mean? It sounds like he's just a Protestant. Basically,
I was scared.
he's a Seventh Day Adventist secretly.
No, it's
I
over.
learned about Seventh Day Adventists the other day. Do you actually know what they believe?
Oh my, you can divination, guys. You are Jesus.
Actually, not anymore.
Oh,
Um, the funny thing about Seventh Day Adventists, because the first thing I thought is when I started learning about them, I thought they were a cult. And that's because every offshoot of Christianity that calls itself something different ends up being a cult. Just an experience. Um, And so I was like, okay, I'm so ready. I'm ready to find out what heretical things they believe. I'm ready to figure out what's wrong.
Hey,
And they were just wrong about a rapture prediction, basically.
hey,
And
I have to go for a bit. I'm on call for work right now, so I have to go do a thing. I'll probably be, I don't know if y'all will still be on when I get
We'll
back,
probably still be
but
here.
yeah.
Maybe.
yeah,
It's
Dragon
good.
probably will be.
It's gonna be like at least a couple of hours, maybe, or
I'm
2 to
gonna be
3
Maybe
hours.
not
unconscious
then.
as heck.
Yeah,
I'm
maybe
gone.
not
That's
then.
it.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll talk to y'all next time I see you.
See ya.
Yeah, lovely to meet you.
God
Welcome to the
bless.
server.
All right. Bye bye.
Bye.
So many people this
Um,
stream, especially on Twitch and Kick.
I know. There you go. But just had to happen. Um, yeah. So anyway, they have this. So basically, there was a group of Christians that started calling themselves Millerites, right? After a guy called something Miller. And I forget his first name because I haven't studied them for long.
Is it Joseph?
I wish it was just freaking every cult is just Joseph something.
Yep.
But it's something Miller. I think it might be John Miller or something like that. But they called themselves Millerites because basically he was very much like this guy that you were thinking was a rapture prediction person, where he said Jesus is going to come back between 1840 to like 1860 or something like that. And everyone was like, "Ah,
I
he
heard
is
the
the
new
true
day is
prophet."
today, guys. We're getting
Exactly,
raptured.
yeah. We're getting raptured right now. But he was
I'm
saying,
being
"Oh,
for real
Jesus is
though.
going to come back."
They did say
Oh,
the new date was today.
is it the
The
same
like
guy
sixth
as
one.
before?
Yeah, the sixth
Oh,
date,
good
guys.
Lord. He can't seriously still have followers, can he?
He does. This is how cults
Oh
start,
my God.
guys.
It is. Good Lord. How many predictions is he going to be wrong about? Hey, at least we can say we were here to witness the beginning. And you almost joined.
Ah.
Uh,
Oh, dang. Shots fired. Shots fired. I see you.
I had a little thing on my calendar to be like message on the day of the rapture saying message Dragon just to make sure he's okay. um, but hey, we all survived, so that's okay.
We're alive.
But so they believed that Jesus was going to come back, and then obviously he didn't. And then this resulted in an actual historical event called the Great Disappointment,
Oh.
which I think is hilarious. It's just the Great Disappointment. Jesus doesn't turn up, and everyone's like,
Aww.
that's disappointing, really. So the Great Disappointment occurs, and then another guy comes in after Miller and says, "Actually, guys, Miller was right. Jesus did come back."
It was
And everyone was like,
spiritual.
literally. They were like, "Yeah, so Jesus, he did come back, but notice the Miller guy, he didn't say where Jesus would be coming back."
Mmm.
So, life hack: Jesus just moved to a different room in heaven. He moved to the inner chamber of heaven.
Uh-huh.
And that's what happened between those dates in the Seventh day Adventists. So everyone was like, ah, so the prophecy was true. um, and then they continued following that for a little while, just believing. Basically, they were just Christians, but they believed Jesus moved in heaven. That's the difference. And then there was a woman who came along, who I can't remember the name of, who basically claimed to have lots of visions of Jesus and lots of prophecies and guidance and everything. And that's the bit where everyone was like, "Oh my gosh, okay, this is it. This is where they become a cult. That she's gonna like give some sort of heretical teaching, and they're all gonna follow it, right?"
Yeah.
Except her primary teaching, nearing the end of her life, she lived to about 60. She said, "Just make sure all of my teachings, you check them with the Bible, because they might be wrong.
Oh.
So just run everything that I say past the Bible, and that's my last message to you." Croak, dead. There she went. And as a result, all of the false teachings that she had given were checked with the Bible, and they went, "Oh, there's no biblical basis for this," and were removed. And now, today, Seventh-day Adventists are just Christians, except they worship the Sabbath on a Saturday. That's it.
I've heard basis for that.
And what, for the fact that the Sabbath is on the Saturday?
Yeah, I've probably heard it from them.
You probably did. And the problem is that they treat it like it's this objective thing. The only reason that we celebrate the Sabbath on a Sunday is because that's the day that Jesus rose of the week. And Christians wanted to differentiate themselves from the Jews. So they were like, oh, we'll just put it on Sunday.
Oh.
Because that's the day Jesus rose. And so it's not like there's an objective standard of what day the Sabbath is. It's just take one of the days out of the week. That's the end of your week now.
And rest.
There you go. And rest. There is no like, and therefore God ordained that Tuesday will be the day of Sabbath. Right? It's just, there will be a Sabbath day, keep it holy. Okay? Which one? Well, Wednesday didn't exist back then. So the one that is the day of rest is
How
the
about
one you will
Moon
celebrate
Day,
it on.
guys? The day of the
Moon Day.
moon.
So Seventh-day Adventists will come along and be like, oh, you should celebrate the Sabbath on the Saturday because something to do with the fact that the Jews do, and we should return to the standard there. And I look at that and I go, yeah, but it's just, there's no biblical basis for any of this.
Guys,
It's just preference.
We should just apply this to anything about Judaism. Return
That's
to
it.
Jew.
Return to Jew, which is what the Hebrew Israelites decided to do. But this is the crazy thing. They'll treat it like some objective thing. It's just preference. As far as I can tell, it's just preference. The only thing that isn't preference is that you should celebrate a Sabbath day and keep it holy. That's it. So that has a biblical basis. Do that. Which day is kind of up to you, and you should do it in a community. So you should probably do it on the same day as the rest of your community. So if your community is doing Sunday, you should probably do Sunday. But if your community is Seventh-day Adventist and they do it on Saturday, okay, do it on Saturday. That's fine.
Cool.
That's cool. And now, really disappointingly, the great disappointment, in fact, Seventh-day Adventists are just normal Protestant Christians who celebrate the Sabbath on a Saturday and believe Jesus moved in heaven one time.
Where they were a cult, guys.
A lot of people did think they were a cult. They just seem to be fine. Like, maybe I will be proven wrong, and maybe I will find out that they believe this super secret thing. But as far as I can tell,
Secret Society.
Secret Society. They've got such a cult-like name. You don't call yourself Seventh-day Adventists and expect people not to call you a cult.
That's fair. You have a point.
But yeah, someone prove me wrong. If there's a Seventh-day Adventist in the chat somewhere, please help.
Because the likelihood of that is so high.
It is extremely high. On the off chance, look, God answer my prayer.
Ooh.
Send the Seventh-day Adventist to me.
They just joined the VC like 2 seconds after.
My gosh, I'd scream. So maybe one day we will discover that they are actually secret heretics, but right now they just seem okay and fine.
Are any heretics secretive?
Yes.
Normally they're loud and proud.
Well, the Mormons are pretty secretive.
You see, I'm a heretic based on Catholicism.
Yeah, this is true, but Catholicism's false, so that's okay.
See, they're the heretics.
They're the heretics. You got it. Oh, dear.
This server is so Catholic coded.
Oh my gosh, it is. Like, I didn't realize until after a while. I was like, wait a second, I've joined a Catholic server. This is not a Christian server. This is a Catholic server that features Protestants.
We are getting more Protestants as time goes on, though. Spider
We are.
said
I am
offended.
noticing that.
But we're also getting even more Catholics.
Yeah, this is the thing. I think the problem is that most people who are becoming Christian now are becoming Catholic because most people are attracted to the aesthetic of the traditions of it, and then they start learning the actual dogma.
Yeah, the new generation likes tradition.
They do. So I think that's what's really driving the growth of the Catholic Church, which is unfortunate because
Because you're false, guys.
uh, I really don't like that conclusion. I don't like then saying, "Oh yeah, this entire sect of Christianity is false," but I can't deny what appears to be evident. So
And
until I'm
guys,
proven wrong on
Rose is
that,
saying that you have works-based salvation and you're going to hell.
they do have.
It's over. Spider, I'm sorry to tell
Oh,
you,
dear.
you're not making it, bro.
Spider, wait, is he in the chat?
Yeah.
I love him. Spider, you can do it. You can join us. You can be Protestant. It's a good idea. It makes sense. Ask me anything. I'll be your. Ah,
Spider!
Oh my gosh!
Actually, he is the Seventh-day Adventist. We found him.
Oh my gosh, we've got another
We
one.
did it.
Who are you?
Now.
Oh wait, this is the
Spider's telling you to
speech
fight
thing
him.
for I love it. I love this is how you spike. How you spike? How you speak
Spike.
now. I will.
I love spiking.
Fisticuffs are up, Spider. I'm ready.
I spike to all
I
people.
love you. Say again?
I spike to all people. Mm-hmm.
You spike to all people. I approve of this. This is it.
I made up
This
a
is
word,
what talking
guys.
too much gets you. You just sent a gift.
You're heretical if you don't believe in the spiking foundation, okay?
That's true and also correct. And also
Yes.
true.
See, Rose gets it. Be more like Rose.
Dang, nabbit.
You're going to hell.
Aww.
Now I want to debate with you now, Spider.
But I
And
wanna go to
quit, but
heaven.
Oh dear. Guys, I actually it is almost 1 a.m.
I don't
as well,
like being
so-
told by myself that I'm going to hell.
Tell me again. Do it harder.
You're going to hell.
Yes.
I just told myself I'm going to hell. It's over.
That's it. Sorry, Dragon. Get out of here. You.
Past me is telling future me that hell is inevitable.
Yeah. It's past Southern Dragon.
Exactly.
Off you go. Wait,
Bye,
are you actually
guys.
Southern? I can't tell by the actual accent.
I am from the South. Does that mean I'm
Oh
Southern?
my
though?
gosh. Wait,
Mm.
I don't know how. Wait, I thought that's. Oh no. I don't know how your culture works. It's sort of
I
something
don't know
about-
how my culture works.
You're just in it. You didn't learn it.
I'm just here.
I'm just present.
I just exist with the people that tell you you're going to hell.
Spider, I hope you're okay. I've been seeing things in the chat about you possibly not being okay, and I've been worried.
Me too. King has too.
You might be wrong, but I still
the
love you.
same.
Still
Aw.
the same. Okay. Well, it's the same, but also now we are here.
Yes.
So it is therefore better than it was before.
Rose
So-
makes everything better.
This is a quote that I'm going to take and use.
Someone voice clip
And
it. We're gonna have a new saying.
Please, someone. That's going to be on the stream now. I need that. And then, anytime I'm in the same call as a Catholic, I need someone to spam that. Hey, there's some dinosaur fight going on here.
They're gonna beat each other up.
Hey, I'm just saying, there's violence happening on the Catholic side.
Ah,
Yeah, that's right. I'm going to claim the moral high ground.
Catholic on Protestant violence is at an all-time high.
I want that as like a radio broadcast. Protestant violence is at an all-time high.
Yes. Exactly.
Oh, good
Spider.
Lord.
Spider is the cause of all of them. Though, all of them,
He is. He's a very violent individual.
especially on Battlefield 6.
I've never, you know what, Spider? I've never heard any actual theology from you, and I would love to.
He's just kind of here.
Like, you clearly have it. I know it's in your head. I know you're sitting on all that theology in there, otherwise you wouldn't be Catholic. But I don't know what's in there.
You think wrong.
No,
Ah.
you think wrong.
Oh, actually, you're Catholic.
Yeah.
My
You,
head
you
is
think wrong.
empty.
Oh.
Oh. You
Oh, that's
see,
fine.
you
Join
were
the
wrong. He
Protestants then.
doesn't think.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what Protestants do. Come on, come join
Ah.
us. We're the denomination that doesn't have all
I don't
of
want to
the
make fun of
apostolic
King,
succession.
but that's King's every argument. Actually, that's a Catholic thing. You'd be a great Catholic.
I'm gonna fully make fun of King. It's I'm allowed to now. He's
It's out
given
of
me
love,
moral proclivity
guys.
to do so. It is. It's love. It's all love. It's love all the way down.
I actually kind of want to take that, though. You'd be a great Protestant. I kind of want to use that.
There you go. There's another voice clip.
And it's just
The
about, like, the
grandma
most
head is empty.
simplistic topic, though. Just something random.
No, it's not empty. I know you got more than spiders in there, Spider. I know there's something.
Yeah, he has a spider and a spider web.
He does. I need to go to bed, but now you're here. Ah,
It's all Spider's fault. Mm-mm-mm.
he's just sipping. He's just sipping his tea and being happy. Look at him. Look at this guy. Who does he think he is?
I'm gonna have so many clips of you from this video. Dream,
Do it.
whatever
Do
you
it.
want to call
Make
it.
it happen. Turn me into the server Protestant celebrity. I will represent you all.
He's a co-host on my new channel.
It's me. Oh, new branding. I like it.
What would we call
Spider,
it, guys?
I'm going to ooh. No, I tried to combine our names and it didn't work.
I
so-
tried to do the same thing and my head exploded. I was like, I'm not
Uh,
going to attempt that.
Dragon and Droz.
I
Yeah,
love draws,
I invented
guys.
it. Droz, my favorite channel. It sounds like garbage, but it's great. So you want a good little bit of Droz in your
The
life?
vampiric faith, guys.
The vampire.
Got him.
Got him.
Another 3-word.
That's it. Get out
As
of
all
here.
things
Who do you
should
think you
be.
are? Spider, actually, I really want to know. Can I ask you a thing just before I go to bed? And if I ask you the thing, will you give me an honest answer or will you punch me in the face again?
Again.
Please. It keeps happening. It's very bruised at this point, metaphysically.
Depends. I am uncultured in most things.
Okay, that's fine because this is you culture. This is spider culture, right?
This is what Spider-Man believes.
All I'm going to ask is, why are you a Catholic? That's all I want to know.
You said that in the most sentimental type tone when the Minecraft music hit.
I was going for sensual, but I'll take sentimental as well.
Both. Let's say
I
both.
go for both.
I
I'm
did
open
not
to
know
all.
what the
Isn't
word to
my
say.
source code so?
That's
Ah.
not how, right.
This is how this works.
It's in
I
his
was
source-
born a Christian,
Ah,
guy, so I am
Oh
Christian.
my gosh!
The
I
atheist
spoke
argument.
to someone who had that belief the other day. Actually,
The
where they-
atheist
I
argument.
said- Yeah, I was like, he was like, oh yeah, I'm a Christian. I'm like, oh cool, why? He was like, oh, I was raised it. And I'm like, okay, do you think it's important that you maybe are able to defend the faith? He was like, no, not really. I'm like, do you think maybe there's a Bible verse supporting that? He went, no, not really.
Best guy. I know
So
him.
I gave him the Bible verse.
He's
and
my
he
best
said no.
friend.
He's your best friend. He's
We
great.
go way back, guys. Since I was like 2.
Yeah, it's this guy. He knows what he's talking about. As does Spider, evidently. I'm so sad. Well, when you
Spider,
one day, Spider.
what Catholic teachings do you hold to? Well,
Yes.
you said you don't even go to church. Wait. You have
Wait.
none of the sacraments.
Wait, that means he's been committing mortal sins.
Oh no. Spider.
Spider, when was your last
I
confession?
do go to church.
Oh, he's fine.
Oh,
he's
he just
fine.
doesn't
No,
read
he's
the
not
Bible.
fine. He's part of the wrong church. He's in the wrong church. 10 years
ago.
Oh.
Good Lord.
Oh. I do
I
go
am
to church
currently in
10
church
years ago.
10 years in the past.
Exactly. For real.
Oh, Spider. You know what? I count this. I
They're
count
gonna
this. He's an
excommunicate
honorary
you.
Protestant.
You can't be Catholic anymore.
I am stupid.
You're
at
not allowed
being
in there anymore.
Catholic.
That is because Catholic is a works-based salvation, and Protestantism acknowledges the message of Jesus that says it's a free gift, and you can accept that free gift today.
Why do you sound like a store salesman?
For $9.99, you can get this free gift into heaven. It's not work.
Buy one, get two free! If you call right now. And if you subscribe to this news article at 803-669-7724.
Oh my gosh, you're there. I'm sold. I'm buying.
Exactly.
Where? When? Give it to me. Spider, I hope you realize that means I'm counting you as an honorary Protestant. We're claiming you now. So, sorry, you've been usurped. You've been kidnapped.
Oh.
Wait, that's against one of the 10 Commandments. You've been gently nudged into our vicinity.
Guys, floating trees. I've done it.
You've broken the laws of physics. Again.
Man, this is like the third time this Tuesday.
The cat gif of the kidnapping, of the catnapping, in fact.
That's a regular show in a nutshell.
That's right. Wait, what is?
Breaking the laws of physics every Tuesday.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, what is going on here? What have you done to all of these trees? You've just swept the rug out from under them, and now
They
it
have
looks
no
like
more
you've
mountain. They
You
didn't
did
need
nick
it.
their mountain, yes.
All these chests. Stone. Yay.
I guess, yeah. They're gone now. You've taken the foundation on which the trees stand. Hey, maybe this is a metaphor.
But it's still a rock. There's no sand here.
But they're not touching the rock. They've built their houses upon air.
Who cares about rocks and sand when you have air? You don't even have to be on the ground. You'll never be shaken. You'll be flying.
And that's Dragon's official response to the parable of the man who built his house.
Exactly. Like
Once
your
Jesus had
foundation
finished saying
can't
these
shake
things,
if you're in the
Dragon turned to him
sky.
and said, who cares about rocks and sand, bro?
Me being Catholic. Gross.
It's true and accurate, and I also am wearing a red beret right now, probably.
Mmm. The Catholic way.
It's the Protestant way. We protest you away. We sweep you away.
It's a jungle.
Right, I actually do need to go to bed because I'm going to die in the morning.
You have to go sleepy
I have
time.
to be up. I have to be up at 6 a.m. and it is currently almost 1 a.m.
Mmm.
This is going to be very fun.
Indeed.
You can see the sacrifices I make to join your streams.
It's so worth it, though, guys.
It's always worth it, of course. But it's why I need approximately 6 to 8 business days to recover from each stream.
That is true.
Right. I'm signing off now. Congratulations on your
Goodbye.
Protestant conversion, Spider.
God bless.
And,
You'll be seeing yourself in some shorts very soon.
oh, I hope so. Send them to me, actually, if you do end up genuinely doing that. You don't have
There's
to,
probably
but
going to be
if you
like
do,
3 or 4 of them in total, if not more. There were so many
I'm ready.
conversations.
This is my time in the spotlight. I knew it was coming. Right.
You'll get paid your check in about 28 weeks.
I'll get so many Jesus points for this. It's going to be great.
You see, that's the
Right.
true works-based salvation.
Hey. No, they're faith points. Faith points. They can be exchanged for tokens.
Mmm.
Anyway, good night. Sleep well when you get to it. And hopefully I'll speak to you all again soon.
God bless.
Bye. You too. God bless.
Bye. Spider, it's over for you. I'm actually probably going to mute and like finish the stream off. I don't know if there's much else for me to do. And it's 8. Yeah, I gotta probably be doing other stuff. I'm gonna finish this stream off with my testimony. Let me make sure I have everything correct before I go through this all. Hopefully, it'll take up 10 minutes so I can get monetized. See, I like money. No, I'm kidding. But it is a goal. I do want to make this at least 10 minutes, but I have to go through so much, but also so little. I don't know if we're going to make it. We'll see. We'll see. I have a lot of experiences to go through, so that's going to be the main thing. I'm going to make sure we have everything ready. Before I go fully into this. And then we'll end off stream right after. How many people we got watching right now, by the way? I know we got a good amount of subs. We had some, like, 2 subs during the time that I was done. Oh, we had someone follow on Kick. There's also another person watching on Kick. That's pretty cool. There might be someone on Twitch. Might be is the key word there. Because I still do want to make a video today. I'm going to check my shorts. Oh, whoa, what? What happened here? My short is growing. I want to see which one's going to get more, so I'm going to test that. Okay. Is there anything I am missing for this? I am. Let's see. Okay. I think we got enough. If I'm missing anything, that sucks. Whatever. First off, we're gonna start. I was, I think, in middle school at the time, and I was like researching things, figuring things about spirituality, the universe. It listens and then it provides things, and then I get things, and just explaining things to people where I was like, oh, well, I see something in the universe, and then that happens. One time, one of my friends was like, so you mean God? And I was like, not really. I mean, the universe. And he's just like, God. I was like, I also just kind of wanted to move away from the conversation because I was an atheist. And God came up, I was like, ooh. And I just try to push away from the conversation. Recently, I saw a video where someone was like, all these people say they hated Christians when they were atheists. And it's like, I don't hate Christians. So I don't know where that comes from. But, like, not in a sense of hate. It's not like hating Christians. It's just any mention of it, I don't want to be near it. And even then, that might not be a large experience for others, but for me, it was. And they said it was like a common occurrence between people who convert to Christianity. They like don't like the faith, and I thought that was an interesting like correlation. But I'm gonna continue. And basically, I was dabbling and stuff like that. And either before or after, I encountered a channel called Sam and Colby. Basically, they do things like they talk to ghosts and they go to haunted places and they like figure out stories about dead people and they use like ghost hunting detection to communicate with them and all of these other separate ideas. Just like not separate, but just similar ideas, you know? They all just was in that spiritual realm talking about things like spirits and otherwise and like demonic evil spirits and normal spirits and anything else. And either before or after that, I found I actually really wanted to do it. I wanted to. I'm gonna let this go. I wanted to engage in things like that, like talk to spirits, find out if they were real, because I believed in them, but I was like, I didn't have proof, I didn't have any evidence at all. I just kind of thought, oh, they're probably real, and that's really cool. So one day, I was on my phone in the App Store, and I decided to look up, like, I'm gonna let this go. like spiritual talking apps, like the same thing you do with like an EMF reader or a spirit talking box, like a physical one, but it's just normal. And I was using that, and I was like, this is kind of junk, because it was just spitting out random responses. It wasn't really in relation to anything, so I just kind of like, over time, just went, this kind of sucks, and just left it. But then I saw in the reviews of the app, it was like, turn on airplane mode for this thing to work. I was like, oh, airplane mode? Let me try that. And so what I did is I turned on airplane mode, and I was figuring things out. I was talking, seeing if like I'd get any responses, and it wasn't super accurate, but it was way better. It was talking about some random stuff sometimes, so I kind of brushed it off a little. And eventually, sometime during the night, I was talking, and I don't remember what happened first. Either what I'm about to explain, the mirror, or the Google Doc. I'm gonna go Google Doc first, and basically, I decided that I was gonna write down all the responses on the phone on a Google document because it was interesting, see what happens, and so I can have context later. I was like, okay, I'm gonna do that. So that's what I did. Anytime something would come through, I'd write it on the Google Doc, and eventually, it got to the point where I was writing on the Google Doc, and then I'd wait, and eventually it started going, no, no, stop, or just similar things like that. I was like, huh, what do you want me to stop? It was like, stop. And then I was like, you mean this Google document right here? And it was like, yes, stop. I was like, oh, well, I'll stop, but what if I don't? And it was like something. I don't know what it said. It said, I think it was a threat, or maybe it wasn't. I don't remember. And it was like actively responding to what I was saying and like what I was doing. I was like, oh, that's interesting. And that's when I really went, huh, this might have some merit to it, and things I cannot comprehend might actually exist. And either before or after that experience, I was talking to the same thing, airplane mode on, and whatever. And one of the things it told me to do was go to the mirror and do or say something to let something, I guess, out of the mirror. I was like, what? What do you mean? It was like, the mirror. I was like, oh. And I was like a little freaked out. I was like, it's probably not real. And then there was a different spiritual app that costed money, but there was YouTube videos on it where they said that it would actually work in real time. So I was like, okay, maybe this app has something to it. Since this free one, it was accurate, but it still wasn't, you know. So I paid like $5 for whatever app it was. I'm not going to disclose the names of any of the apps. You can find them easily if you look them up, but I would suggest please don't. You really don't want to go through any of the stuff I did, and mine wasn't even extreme. Mine was pretty basic. I didn't have much happen, but just knowing that I did that, I have regret for it, but it's not like I can do anything, and it is the thing that led me to Christ. And I got this paid app, and it was way more accurate. So anytime I'd like say something or even just sit down, I would actually, we're going to rewind a little bit. Even before this app, I was talking to spirits, being like, if you're real, make this noise. And even when I was on the free app, I was doing the same thing. I was like, if you're real, if this is accurate, make some sound. The most common one, always, all the time, was just like a tap or a knock. And I'd use that as like a yes or a no, depending on whatever. So that's what I was doing. And so the paid app, right? It was more accurate. I was like, this is kind of interesting, but the app could still be fake. I mean, there's not really much to go off of. But then it was kind of strange. Because past this point, I would hear knocking, I would see things, I can't even explain some of this, it's so crazy. I was explained to someone that I was a natural medium, whatever that means, and that I can see spirits normally, which was like, oh, that's really cool. At the time, it was really cool. I don't want that anymore. I hate it so much. I don't want to see stuff like that or experience it. Oh my goodness. Even after I experienced so many bad things. Thing I've brought up to some people beforehand is like, stuff like that is meant to lead you away so you like obey the demons, that you give in, and that you like obey them and they'll give you all that you want. Pretty much the devil's scheme, but in reality about spirits. That's pretty much like the whole goal of the New Age stuff. From my findings, at least. And that's the one thing that led me to God, because I was like, okay, I have things that I can't rationally explain that are happening in front of me, that they're telling me about, they're responding to me, they're talking about people in my family that aren't alive. They also talked about harming me, which was fun. They talked about skinwalkers too, which was bleh, whatever. Crazy. I was like, okay, I can't explain any of this because there's physical things happening around the house that I have no physical way to explain. So I was like, okay, there's things happening. I don't understand this. That means there is a God. That means there has to be a God. There has to be something above this. If there's a realm that I cannot comprehend, that I cannot logically explain, that means that there is something above that. There's got to be. If there's spirits, there's got to be something above spirits. Some people just assume from there that, oh, well, the spirits are real, and that's where it ends. But I have personal evidence now that that's not the case. The first religion I went to was Christianity, just because it's the one I'd heard the most about. I never really... No, I didn't even know of Judaism or Islam or anything like that beforehand. I knew a little bit of Judaism, mainly because people make fun of Jewish people a lot, but that's like the only reason I'd heard of it. I was like, okay, so I started Bible studies and stuff. But now I want to go into two separate experiences, because this is kind of crazy. These are the ones I really can't wrap my head around, because I was doing the same thing, right, with the normal paid app, but it wasn't the app, it was just me and knocking yes or no with one of my friends, two of them, but the other one just fell asleep, he didn't really care. And it was just me, and we were talking about stuff. And we were talking to spirits, and we were getting answers, and we were hearing knocking, like you would normally hear, and it was... I thought it was really cool at the time. Now, not so much, but it was interesting. And just, we were talking back and forth. Spirits were getting things right that they really shouldn't know about him or his life, and they were talking about things. And I don't remember a lot of what happened that night. It was so crazy. Seeing spirits, everything else. I also showed him how to see spirits, and it worked, so that was interesting. But we finished off that night by him saying, well, if you're him, or if you're real, or whatever, then let me see you, or something. Me or my other friend didn't see this, but he did. He freaked out, because after saying he wanted to see them, he said an arm, literally, like, if it was at the top of your head and swung down in front of it, like, pretty much the, what's it called? John Cena, Can You See Me wave? It was like that, but just one over his face, and he jumped out of the chair and ran. I can't verify that one, because that one actually didn't happen to me. It happened to my friend. And I was there, but we couldn't see it, but he did. So you can take that one with a little grain of salt. This next one was directly me, though, and I really want to explain this. Another thing a lot of atheists say, or I heard Alex O'Connor say this, is, why do you have witchcraft or warlocks? These are fake sins because they don't exist. And through my personal experience, I know that's not the case. I know the spiritual realm is a thing that exists. It's real. There's spirits around you. You don't have to accept anything I say. That's my personal experience. Anyways, I'm going to finish off with the biggest one that I cannot explain at all. It wasn't provoked. It was just normal. So basically, me and my friends, again, we were just having a normal day, chilling out, and eventually they just ended up going to sleep. And I was in my room alone, working on my VR, or playing a game, or just messing with stuff. And eventually, I was just sitting there, and I heard a loud bang, and I actually jumped. I was like, oh. And I turned around, and I saw my chair on the floor, and I was like, huh. And mind you, this chair is about 20, 30 pounds. It's a heavy chair. It's one of those pull-out, like, flip chairs that you sit down, you pull the legs out, and it stands, but it's really heavy. And basically, I had the same thing happen with posters, but that could have just been wind. You can explain that away. This thing, this chair, this heavy chair, was leaning up against my closet, and I had it there for months. It would just lay up against my closet at pretty much a 45-degree angle, maybe a little bit more because it'd probably fall at that angle. And it'd be like on the doorknob or right below it, propping itself up. And I was there for months. It was just sitting there, again, this heavy chair. And when I turn around, it had not fallen towards the closet. It had fallen the opposite direction towards me. Again, we have this heavy chair leaning against a closet that wind would not be able to push this thing over. And it somehow gets above this 45-degree angle to at least a 90-degree one, and then falls the opposite direction. I didn't see that happen, but that's the only way it would be facing towards me instead of the closet by falling. That's the one I truly can't explain at all. I mean, the other ones I can't explain at all, but at least I could be like, oh, well, it could be this. Oh, well, it could be that. But with that chair, I can't explain that. Again, this is a pretty heavy chair, and it fell the opposite direction towards me. That's pretty much my whole testimony. Pretty much the whole thing. I'm gonna make this a video later. It'll be probably way better edited, hopefully. And I'll make it like my testimony. And if it sucks, I'll just make a new one in the future when I get better at editing. God bless anyone here. I'm gonna end this off. I'll probably be back in a few days, maybe. Again, God bless you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.